and somehow put all the relevant ones at the top on the first page. If you can save about a half an hour of your client's time.
And you managed to do that successfully?
Yes, we developed an algorithm. It took us a couple of years. We developed an algorithm that did precisely that, and it worked like a miracle because only 5 people in the company knew how it worked. And the moment we introduced it, our sales team all got calls from clients saying, "What is this? What have you done? This is fantastic." Right? Now that's how smart programming, AI, ML can help you.
And proprietary.
And proprietary.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
We have a big newsmaker joining us now, someone who played an important role in strategizing for the state of Madhya Pradesh, BJP Madhya Pradesh in charge. Muralidhar Rao is joining us live. Mr. Rao, congratulations. 160 and above.
Thank you.
It's a landslide victory. Did you actually anticipate such a huge success?
No, definitely. Internally, all important people, we had full discussion and we have the comprehensive feedback. Based on that, we were expecting 150 and above. This kind of communication we could receive from the party feedback. So definitely it is a great and good victory, and important people were aware of this.
A landslide victory, Muralidhar Rao ji, mera sawal is going to be also this, that just about every section seemed to have voted for the BJP. Do you think particularly the women of the state played an important role? The Ladli Behna scheme of the sitting Chief Minister in Shivraj Singh Chauhan could very well have been that X factor.
We have to understand before reaching a conclusion. I would like to say in 2018 election and in before 2013, in every election, if you see, in Madhya Pradesh, because of the welfare front and the development front and the performance of the state government in Madhya Pradesh, women always supported BJP, but this time definitely it was it is stupendous, and the support is very more than what we used to get. Apart from that, as you said, I would like to say here, after 20 years of government, running the government in the state for 20 years, after that, a party in governance is able to increase the vote share. Previously, our vote share was 41%. This time, the vote share is 48 and nearly 49%. So you should not go into only seats. The matter of the pride is the vote share increase. 49% vote share never happened in the history of Indian politics. In a state where we have governed for 20 years, their vote share increased so much, 8%. So this also adds to the, this victory, a very important feature.
Yes, but Muralidhar Rao ji, in the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP's ambition has always been 50% mark, and you did manage it also in the state of Madhya Pradesh in 2019.
You have to understand, in BJP before Modi ji and particularly after Modi ji came into the central government in Delhi, we always, in the central elections, in the national elections, we are above the state performance and state percentage in every state, almost every state. So this is the, the very important aspect of the BJP's performance in every state. But here in Madhya Pradesh, first time we have, decided the target of 50%, and we almost reached this time.
And Mr. Muralidhar Rao, how is the BJP looking at the fact that 12 of ministers of Shivraj Singh Chauhan's cabinet, including the controversial Home Minister in Narottam Mishra, they lost despite you winning with a landslide. That certainly is a disappointment.
You know, this is definitely a kind of thing which we have to review. There is no anti-incumbency against the government, and in fact it is a pro-incumbency, because unless you have a pro-incumbency, you cannot increase the percentage like 8% in a state. In such a situation, ministers who have functioned in the same government losing, definitely it's a bad luck and maybe local reasons. I don't see a statewide reason for that.
And do you think that fielding ministers, union ministers, MPs actually worked?
Largely leaving, Faggan Singh Kulaste,
Yes,
almost
he
all
lost.
the persons whom we have fielded, they have won, and it has helped.
Okay, Mr. Rao,
And more important thing is, you have to understand,
go ahead.
the Modi ji as a person, it is not just Prime Minister running the campaign. He always was available for the Madhya Pradesh, both to guide the state government and to lead the state government campaigns, and also to guide the booth level worker. This has happened in the last 3-4 years. So his continuous availability in guiding all the people, this has enormously helped the BJP at the state level.
You are saying that the Prime Minister's connect with the booth level workers actually helped, make those gains. How much of that push that was done by the Prime Minister on the day of Birsa Munda Jayanti in Ranchi helped you tilt the tribal votes in your favor in the state of Madhya Pradesh?
I don't want to take that program in isolation. In Madhya Pradesh, in the beginning, before 3 years, we have identified 3 important sections. One, women, as you have observed now. The second is scheduled caste and also the scheduled tribes. Very important sections of electorate in Madhya Pradesh. All these areas we have consistently worked. In all these important programs, Honorable Prime Minister participated. Sant Ravidas Ji Mandir inauguration program, Rani Durgavati related program, Raghunath Shah related program in tribal heroes. So like that, in every campaign related to SCs, STs and women, in all of these programs, important programs, Prime Minister's presence was always there. He pushed, he strengthened, he supported, and he backed also all of us.
It's about collective leadership which was on display despite Shivraj Singh Chauhan being Chief Minister of 4 terms. The BJP did not really project him as a Chief Ministerial candidate. My question is that after this victory, who do you hold, who will you give credit? Is it Prime Minister Modi, or will you also say that state leaders played a role?
I don't see in BJP functioning as an in charge for so many years in the entire country in different states, and particularly during the last 10 years under the leadership of Modi ji. I don't see any kind of contradiction between Modi ji's leadership and the state leadership. And you have to understand, you see, a government led by Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji as a chief minister and government led at the center by Modi ji, when they are functioning, whether we projected or not as a strategic reasons, as a party decision, but without Shivraj ji's state government's performance and without the stellar performance of Modi ji's central government, this kind of connect, sustaining this kind of connect with the people would not have been possible. And this kind of, achieving after 20 years, I am again making a statement, 49%, 8% increase across the state. It is not confined to one area. So this would not have been possible.
My last question to you, and I know the answer, but still I will ask you, Muralidhar Raoji, who will be the Chief Minister and how much of credit will be given to Shivraj Singh Chauhan in these campaigns?
You know, our party is always, very responsible, and our leadership at the top also is very responsible, and each person's contribution is well recognized and acknowledged, and I don't see any reason to discount anybody. And our Honorable Prime Minister, under his leadership, top team will discuss and decide all aspects. One, the performance of the past government and the victory and the decoding the victory. Second, the challenges in the coming days in Madhya Pradesh in running the government. And three, under the leadership of Modi ji in 2024 elections and forward. So all these things, taking these aspects into account, leadership issue will be resolved, and that will be taken by everybody collectively.
When do you think the government will be formed? When is the oath likely to happen? How soon?
You know, the date, the date and all these things ultimately subject of the parliamentary board, and the decision is technically will be handled and by the parliamentary board, but it will be very soon.
All right, Muralidhar Rao, thank you so much for your time and congratulations for what has been a phenomenal victory of your party in the state of Madhya Pradesh.
Thank you so much.
And TMC chief Mamata Banerjee has said that Congress has been defeated, but it's not the defeat of the people. She also mentioned that some votes were cut by India parties and that a strategy is needed with ideology to fight the BJP juggernaut.
भाई देखिए, मैं आस्था रखने वाला या खोने वाला कोई नहीं हूँ। लोकतंत्र में लोग लास्ट वर्ड है, और कांग्रेस में जो लोग चाहते हैं कि भाई सब मिलके बीजेपी के साथ लड़ाई करे, मैं उनको यही कह सकता हूँ कि समय कम है, आप अपने हिसाब से सबको इकट्ठा करने का जो प्रयास है वो शुरू तो हो ही चुका है, उसको फिर से एक बार करके अगर एक साथ लड़ाई करना चाहे तो it should reflect in your action, not your words.
Well, strong statements from both Abhishek Banerjee and Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress had earlier advocated that a seat-sharing arrangement between the India Alliance parties should be worked out in the state elections. But it was the Congress that had said that it would decide, take a call on these issues post these state elections. That's what sources had said. Now, of course, today on the floor of the West Bengal Assembly, Mamata Banerjee saying that it was the lack of seat sharing that led to the Congress defeat. The Congress should have done seat sharing. In fact, she went on to say that India parties did cut votes, and had there been seat sharing, that wouldn't have happened. She also said this is a defeat of the Congress, not the people. People have spoken against the BJP, and then went on to add that India Alliance will work together, and if there is any mistake, it will be rectified and we will learn from our mistakes. Earlier in the day, Abhishek Banerjee had also said something similar, saying that India Alliance would actually have to now sit together and work, because this is something that the Congress did on its own. And obviously in all of this, to contextualize what's being said, the India Alliance partners are now going to give the Congress some hard talk over the Congress's insistence on leaving seat sharing for later, and going on to say the Congress would have to now, to quote a Trinamool Congress spokesperson, drop its zamindari attitude and be more accommodative and adjust. And Mamata Banerjee also saying, along with ideology, we need strategy to take on the BJP. And if we come together, then of course the BJP can be defeated in 2024. So tough lessons for the Congress, tough words for the Congress from India Alliance parties, especially the Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee. effectively pointing out that the Congress should do a seat sharing agreement as soon as possible before the 2024 polls. Otherwise, they could have a result like what we saw in these states that have recently concluded polls.
Well, another India ally, Akhilesh Yadav, reacted in somewhat conciliatory tone, saying more work lies ahead. In the past few months, Akhilesh has repeatedly attacked Congress, even accusing the Congress party of trying to wipe out the Samajwadi ideology. Listen to what he has to say.
हम लोग निराश नहीं हैं और राजनीति में, लोकतंत्र में इस तरह के परिणाम आते हैं और जो भी परिणाम आएंगे वो कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है उसको स्वीकार करेगी, लेकिन लड़ाई लंबी है। इन परिणामों से हमें और जिन लोगों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी जैसी बड़ी पार्टी का मुकाबला करना है, उन्हें बहुत तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आने वाले समय में परिणाम दूसरे होंगे।
Well, joining me right now is my colleague Tanish Punjabi. Tanish, these muted attacks on Congress has been growing, and now Akhilesh Yadav, he has come up with his own response. What does it mean for the India alliance going forward?
Well, Osama, let me tell you, I just spoke with the UP Congress President Ajay Rai, and the things that seems like have softened a little bit between the two parties, because while there were talks on the national level, at the regional, the regional party workers of Congress and Samajwadi Party were always constantly at loggerheads and were involved in a war of words. But now both seem to be, step back a little and work towards the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Maybe it could be because the Congress has learned the lesson that it cannot defeat a juggernaut like BJP all alone. So yes, of course, Congress has also softened its stand. It said, Ajay Rai clearly said that the alliance was on national level and they are going to work on, and was not on state level, and they are going to work together with all the India alliance partners for the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. So of course, yes, and if we talk about Akhilesh Yadav has seems that he has also softened his stand, because he said that the Congress we need to work together and come back to the point where we started from, where we agreed that the party support.
Tanish, thank you very much for all those details. We'll have to quickly shift our focus to the Prime Minister who is attending the Naval Day session. Let's take a look.
उनसे कई सारी चीजें ली गई थी। अब चूंकि फादर ऑफ द इंडियन नेवी, जो नौसेना के जो संस्थापक हैं, फादर जिनको कहा जाता है, वो छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज थे, और 1674 में जो उन्होंने फाउंडेशन रखा था मराठा एम्पायर का, जो पश्चिमी भारत है, वेस्टर्न इंडिया, जिसमें कि आप महाराष्ट्र को ले लीजिए, गुजरात को ले लीजिए, जो ये जो हिस्सा है,
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
Give us a sort of profile without disclosing too much of its, but you know, the kind of startups that excite you today. Because Zomato, Policy Bazaar, Naukri, great innings, but I'm wondering today what kind of companies, what are the elements of these companies?
So I tell you, we don't do it top down. We don't say, hey, this is a good sector, let's go for it. If we'd done that in 2010, we would never have invested in Zomato because there was no restaurant listing sector. We would not have done Policy Bazaar in 2008 because there was no insurance comparison sector. We look at companies that are creating new categories, entrepreneurs, breaking new ground, and therefore we do it bottom up. We meet 1,000 startups a quarter, or at least look at 1,000 startups a quarter, meet maybe about 500, and we invest in 3 or 4 a quarter.
Okay.
Okay. And we start with first principles bottom up. Is there some evidence of natural traction? Is there some indication that the value proposition is so good that the customer will really want this? Are customers using it? Are they happy? Are they coming back again and again? Is the company getting some sales? Right? Are customers paying real money for this? And is that real money higher than the cost? So that's the first thing. Then we look at the quality of the team and the founders. Right? And then maybe 100 other things. But these two are absolutely important. Very important also is there some IP that is being created or potentially can be
Whereas the decision on who will be Chief Minister of Telangana is going to be made shortly. We are joined now by Manikam Tagore, Lok Sabha MP of the Congress Party, also a man who was formerly in charge of Telangana, who spent a long time there in that state. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. My first question, an obvious one at this moment, who's going to be Chief Minister of Telangana? Is it clearly going to be Revanth Reddy, or we believe that there are other names also doing the rounds?
Yeah, thank you. Telangana, the MLAs meeting is over, I think, and individual opinions of the MLAs will be taken, and it has been taken by the 4 observers who has been deputed by Honorable Congress President. And then they will report back to Congress President about the view of the MLAs. Then Congress President will take a call. This is the procedure on which Congress travels. It is not that we have a closed envelope from Delhi and we announced that name. It is a democratic process which Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji has initiated long back ago. And the Congress Party has always followed this for the past 7-8 years, and we have been able to do that in a nice way. And we've done it in Karnataka, we've done it in Himachal, and our observers are capable leaders who have gone there, and they will leave it to the Congress President to decide with the facts in his table.
Right, you're right. You did it in Karnataka, you've done it in Himachal. The only thing with Telangana, sir, is that at 65, while at a 70 or a 75, the Congress could take it easy. At 65, given the political climate, 64+1, their observers feel that there is a sense of nervousness about potential attempts. Any kind of friction within is not healthy for the party, given that number there in Telangana. How, is there a sense of nervousness, A, and B, how soon will this decision be taken and a swearing in carry out there in Telangana?
First is there is no nervousness in Congress, and we are all very confident. And we know that Telangana, people of Telangana has rejected the horse trading which the TRS is following, and the way they were buying the MLAs and others has hurt them the most, because many of those people who had shifted the parties bought them over as lost in, for BRS, and they are the main reasons for their defeat itself. So that politics of which Mr. Amit Shah does it in the name of Operation Kamala, like in Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh and others, buying the MLAs through money power but the agency's power won't work in Telangana. We are very clear. We have a process in place, and our MLAs are committed people who have been with the party, and they had fought for a clear-cut agenda, and the people believe that their their agenda has to be implemented, and for that they will be united, and Congress President will be deciding it whenever the AICC observers report back to him.
Okay, so do we expect, I mean, can you give us clarity? My last question on Telangana before I move to larger issues. Can we expect clarity by, let's say, by the end of the day or by tomorrow? Because during election campaign, Mr. Revanth Reddy had said that the swearing-in will take place on December 9th, which is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's birthday. Do we expect it to go on till then, or do we expect it in the next 24 to 48 hours to seal the deal there in Telangana?
No, I'm not dealing it directly with Telangana. Therefore, I don't know the real situation there. But as Revanth Bhai would have been speaking in the political rhetoric there in the campaign part set up, we can keep it that away. But Congress leadership will decide it in a correct way. And we need to give Congress President a reasonable time that all MLAs and all leaders in Telangana knows that thing, that Congress President should be given the reasonable time to complete his consultations, and there will usually the consultation process which makes the Congress, other leaders in the state also, part of it is very important for in the state of Telangana also.
Right, that's right. Now I'm just going to take a broader picture, sir. There was a momentum that the Congress had after the Karnataka elections. Has that completely gone post the Hindi heartland wipeout for the party? Most observers believe that the bounce that the Congress had may have been snatched away by the BJP in the Hindi heartland.
Yeah, this is the narrative being trying to be built by certain section of media, which you are also getting that narrative is impacting you also. But as a data point, as you are a political journalist who covers politics for long, and as a political student for me, I just throw a political as a data point to you. Just I was going through it, and Congress got 4 crore 92 lakh votes in the 4 state elections. And BJP got 4 crore 81 lakh votes. That is, the difference was 10 lakh and 64,000 votes. Therefore, Congress party is not decimated. That is not called that thing. Congress party in North India is decimated. Congress party has just lost everything in the North India with us. We are a party, we are having 4 crore 92 lakh votes, and they are having 4 crore 81 lakh votes. Therefore, Congress party's seat numbers has fallen because of different reasons. For example, Rajasthan, 52 MLAs has lost, 18 ministers has lost. There is a clear-cut anti-incumbency against the MLAs and
sitting
ministers. The same thing happens in Chhattisgarh. Ministers, more than a dozen ministers has lost, and more than 20 MLAs has lost. Because there is the mechanism which we need to fix in the Congress party is about the sitting getting story has to end now. Congress party has to evolve some kind of mechanism, because Congress party is not an authoritative party, it's a democratic party. Therefore, we can't just say that tomorrow if there is an anti-incumbency against my constituents, I'll not be saying that Manik, your ticket is cut because there is anti-incumbency against. That has to be told. We have to reach to a level now, people are fed up with the MP or an MLA. The data shows now, because of the survey and others, we can convince the candidate that you are going to lose an election. Instead, you wait for this time. That is the approach we should do it. That is the strong way we need to work on it. But in a democratic way, we have to work on that. That's the major challenge in my view.
It's a very important point that you make. You're saying that, look, the party first needs to now decide that sitting MLA or a sitting MP does not necessarily mean that they'll get a ticket. It will have to be data driven in terms of who can win and who cannot in terms of anti-incumbency. You believe that that's the reason why Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh went away from the Congress?
Yes, perfectly. You put it in a nice way. I was elaborating in a bigger, longer way, but you put it in a very precise way. That's the same thing I'm saying. It has time for the Congress in the state level has to come to, because this is not an all India story where you can put it. It is a state level leadership has to come to conclusion. You should realize that defeat is a defeat for that candidate also. It is a defeat more for the party, and it is a defeat for that candidate also. His political career also gets stopped there. After a defeat, good friends who had been with me, after their defeats, what they become, we know about it. How much it affects their political mind as well as the personal life also, how it affects. We all know that a defeat is a serious thing. Instead, to avoid a defeat, some expert should say that, boss, you are going to lose it. Instead, you can wait for some time.
Okay. Win brings everything. Loss takes away everything in politics, sir. It's a big this one, and obviously most politicians have seen that lesson. I want to focus now on the INDIA alliance per se. The alliance partners have felt that, even the smallest of smaller parties should be taken along. In hindsight, was it a failure of the Congress not to be able to go into these elections as an alliance and alienating allies? Could that have potentially made a difference in a state like Madhya Pradesh, specifically where Mr. Kamal Nath's comments on Akhilesh Yadav was seen by several allies as something of an insult to smaller regional forces?
It's a very difficult question to answer, because Mr. Kamal Nath is a senior leader of Congress, and he has dealt these kind of alliances in different kind of states. He has dealt it in other states. He has been in charge of Tamil Nadu. He has been in charge of many states, which he has stitched alliances and others. But in Madhya Pradesh, where we went wrong, the party General Secretary Randeep Surjewala has to give a report to the Congress President, and there will be some kind of thinking into it. In my view, it's a very tough thing for the Congress party to understand the importance of stitching alliances, because these states where Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and others, there is no alliance politics has come. For example, Tamil Nadu, we have learned about it. In Kerala, we know the value of an alliance politics. But other states, that understanding, it takes a lot of time, because usually we'll think that we are sacrificing our seat to the another party. That's the view in the eyesight we take a view about it. Therefore, it's a very important point there. Congress leadership in the state like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan has to get together, get their acts, get the data in place. For example, Rajasthan also, CPM scored a number of votes. One of my data friends has sent to me data on the Rajasthan numbers, how many seats, how much votes they got it as CPM when they were demanding some seats and others. So it happens to Telangana also. There are CPM has taken some votes in that. Therefore, it's a very difficult discussion. State level leadership has to understand the value of alliance also in that.
It's an important point again that you make. State level leadership needs to understand the value of alliance. My last question to you, sir, because we're running out of time. Very quickly, do we see the Congress change its relationship equations with the INDIA alliance partners? And I ask you this specifically because you've given the example of Tamil Nadu and other states where one ally is clearly the dominant party. It seems easy for the Congress to create an equation. But where it needs to learn to deal with allies as equals, that's where the problem seems to be coming. Do you believe there will be a decisive change?
No, we need to understand that Congress national leadership is very clear in it. Therefore, only India Alliance has come. Congress national leadership is very clear that we have to work with different parties and we have to give and take. That is the equation national. But the state level alliances, when it comes to the state level understanding, state level leaders has to understand that thing. That's the practical difficulty we are facing through. Whichever states, Maharashtra leaders understand the alliance politics. Kerala leaders understand the politics of alliance. Tamil Nadu leaders understand the politics of alliance. Assam leaders has now understand the politics of alliances. So it depends upon the state leadership, and it will take little time. And we all hope that we all understand that our friends will also understand the value of differentiation.
There seems to be very little time left. That's really the problem. But thank you so much, Mr. Manik Tagore. I wish we could speak more about the South-North divide as well, but we're running completely short of time. You made two very important points. One, deal with candidates not on the basis of sitting getting, but on the basis of data on whether anti-incumbency or not works. And the second point you're making is that the national leadership is extremely aware of the alliance issues. It's on a state by state where the state leaderships need to understand the importance of carrying forward with allies from a national point of view. Thank you, Mr. Manikam Tagore, for making those 2 points. We'll take a very short break here on NDTV where the news continues. This show isn't just about news from the southern states. It's one that looks at the rest of India and the world from a diverse South India point of view, because NDTV has always taken the southern view seriously.
The Southern View with Veera Raghav, only on NDTV 24/7.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
What is it about the governance lapses that we've seen in recent times that have been allowed to escalate in the Indian startup universe? And we're not getting into specifics here, but you have boards and you have hefty investors. And you think there's a lot of wisdom sitting around the table, and yet these things happen. Why?
I think very simply, when investors go in, they diligence the company, they diligence the founder, and they conclude that the founder is honest and trustworthy. Right? And that is the case in 95% of the situations. Most Indian founders are trustworthy and honest. Right? But there are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5% who perhaps are not that clean. Right? And those are the cases that have got highlighted actually. And now having said that, I think a lot will depend on what actions investors take after they discover this. And you certainly can't let things be. That's not a good.
Welcome back. The Mizoram People's Movement has won and is all set to form the next government in Mizoram after the party swept the elections, bagging 27 seats in the 14-member House. The Mizoram polls saw a triangular fight between the MNF, the ZPM and the Congress. These three parties contested all the 40 assembly constituencies. The Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, was also present, but as a side player contesting only 23 seats. Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga has lost from the Aizawl East I constituency to the ZPM's Lalduhsoma by a margin of 2,101 votes. Ratndeep, my colleague, he spoke to our Rohim Lengyana, MNF leader, and K. Saptanga, working president of the ZPM. Listen in.
For your party, this is perhaps one of the very dismal performance. Your party was very confident to, retain power, but barring you and few others, most of your senior leaders have also are defeated. What is the reaction of the party? How do you see this result?
Actually, this it surprised us. We don't think that this type of result will come out. It seems that anti-incumbency wave is coming in this election. So I think in Mizoram, in every election, twice we used to have government. Twice, I mean 10 years. So this time I don't know what anti-incumbency wave is very big in Mizoram. That's why, especially in the capital of state and district.
Sir, also the fact that in the run-up to the elections, we did see that the issue of what happened in Manipur and the influx of the displaced people from Manipur was an issue, and even your chief minister, your party kind of had spoken about it, how the MNF government has protected and given shelter to people from Manipur, or the migrants who have come in, the refugees who have come in from Myanmar. So, but when it came to the votes, it seems that, as you said, anti-incumbency became a factor. So, you know, the fact that MNF kind of is a party born out of the Mizo national movement, and this emotion attached to it kind of has now being overshadowed by other factors which the ZPM has campaigned very hard.
Actually this Myanmar refugee and this Manipur, I think it doesn't affect in this election. But the thing is that this anti-incumbency wave is coming maybe due to this COVID-19. Due to this COVID-19, our government performance may be a bit down. That's why it can be because of that one.
At this moment is the working president of Mizoram People's Movement, Mr. Sabdanga. Mr. Sabdanga, you know, in 2018 when you all started, it was not even a registered party, and there were many people who were not career politicians like you. You are an editor, a media personality, a media baron of Mizoram. You came into politics. Why you know, people like you who were not into politics, many of them came into politics through ZPM. Many of you have contested and many of you have won. Why you know, this transition in Mizoram politics has taken place?
It is by God's grace, Yuan. He heard our prayer. That is the first point. Secondly, we promised good governments to the people of Mizoram. And the people wants to taste if we make good or our promise. And that is the reason why they are giving us victory.
Also, now obviously the question comes that you, it seems that you will be able to form a government of your own. But will you take support from any other party if they extend their support and accommodate them as well?
I don't think it's not necessary to give support from outside. Then we can make a government of our own party.
Also, you know, talking nationally, now the national elections are coming in, the national elections are happening next year. So at this moment, ZPM is not part of any of the national formation. The outgoing MNF was part of NDA. So has ZPM thought about anything on that?
We are not a partner of any national level gathering. We do not give support to any other union.
But will you change that policy now?
No. Then we'll discuss. Then which side should be supported by the party, that should be discussed by our leaders.
Has the party already decided about the chief ministerial phase? Because Lalduhsoma was projected as...
Lalduhsoma is already declared as a chief ministerial candidate.
And the Telangana giant killer, BJP's Ramana Reddy, spoke to Maria Shakil, NDTV's Maria Shakil, in an NDTV exclusive on defeating KCR and Revanth Reddy. Listen to what he said.
सबसे पहले बहुत-बहुत बधाई, congratulations. आपने सोचा था ऐसा होगा?
हाँ सोचा था मैडम. मैं पहले दिन में एनडीटीवी में भी बोला था. मैं यहाँ पे आके इंटरव्यू ले लिया तो टाइम पे मैं बोला था 100% जीतूंगा, बराबर उन लोग दोनों को हराऊंगा बोल के जब भी बोला था मैं.
ये मार्जिन ऑफ विक्ट्री 7000 के करीब है, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि ये जो सीट है जहां पर चीफ मिनिस्टर भी लड़ रहे थे जो आउटगोइंग हैं, और जो पोटेंशियल चीफ मिनिस्टर है रेवंत रेड्डी वो भी लड़ रहे थे, तो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंजर आपके लिए कौन था, केसीआर या रेवंत रेड्डी?
दोनों बेहतरीन लीडर है, मशहूर लीडर है. ये पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हो, अब आने वाले मुख्यमंत्री हो, दोनों भी बहादुर लोग है, बेहतरीन लोग हैं. उन लोगों कोई कम आगे पीछे बोल के नहीं है. 12,000 का तकरीबन में तीनों हैं हम लोग. जो भी मेरा को केसीआर साहब को 6,000 और केसीआर साहब को रेवंत रेड्डी साहब को और 6,000, पूरा मिलके 12,000 से हम तीनों हैं. लेकिन या दोनों आने के बाद अब मेरे को एनडीटीवी तक पहुंचना, उसका उन लोग आके यहाँ पे कॉन्टेस्ट किया, इसलिए मैं एनडीटीवी तक पहुंच गया. अदरवाइज आउट ऑफ 119 हम एक है उसमें, इतना स्पेशल नहीं रहता था. इसलिए उन लोग दोनों को मैं शुक्रिया अदा कर रहा हूँ, प्रणाम कर रहा हूँ.
आप 8 एमएलएज में से हैं जो भाजपा के हैं. पहले 2018 में भाजपा की 1 सीट थी. आज 5 साल के बाद भाजपा की 8 सीट है. वो आप 8 लोगों में से हैं, लेकिन सबसे अहम विक्ट्री तो ये है जो आपकी है.
जी, ये तो हम 5 साल से पब्लिक में काम कर रहे हैं. गए साल में 15,000 16,000 तकरीबन 16,000 वोट आया था. जब सोचा मेरा टारगेट इज 2023, अगला 5 साल में पूरा पार्टी कैडर स्ट्रेंथ करना, बाद में एंटी गवर्नमेंट एजुटेशन करना, बाद में मैं वोट पोलराइजेशन होना बोल के ये 3 स्टेप ले लिया.
Moving on to some other news. Daughter-in-law of former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, Bhavani Ravana's video abusing a biker for ramming into her car has surfaced on social media. In the video, she can be heard asking the biker to die by going under the bus instead of damaging her car. She is also heard telling them that her car is worth 1.5 crores and asking who will pay for the damage incurred now. The accident happened on the way from her hometown Saligrama in Karnataka. The bike reportedly came on the opposite side of the turn near Rampur Gate. The biker allegedly wanted to overtake but accidentally rammed into Bhavani's car. A complaint has been filed at the Saligram police station. My colleague Pratibha has more details.
We still really do not know whose mistake it was, whether it was Bhavani Ravana's or whether it was the biker's accident. But whosoever it may be, the fact that she has spoken in this manner to the guy has definitely not really, is definitely not something that people have taken kindly to. I mean, what gives her the right to talk like that to a biker? And what gives her the right just because she is former PM Devegowda's son? So these are some of the questions that are being raised by netizens. Whether this kind of an attitude of Bhavani Ravana would be addressed or not are also some of the questions that have been raised at this point in time. But absolutely no word from Bhavani Ravana yet after the video has gone viral, and no word from the family of Devegowda as well. But we'll have to wait and see whether there would be any kind of apology that would be sent out by Devegowda's family or Bhavani Ravana in particular. This is something that people have been calling for.
Cyclone Michaung, currently swirling over the Bay of Bengal and heading towards the Andhra coast, has unleashed torrential rain upon Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Heavy rainfall was reported in north coastal Tamil Nadu, encompassing Chennai, Chengalpattu, Kanchipuram, Nagapattinam and Cuddalore districts, with Tiruvallur district bearing the brunt of the downpour. The cyclone is expected to make a landfall between Nellore and Machilipatnam tomorrow noon. The Chennai airport in Meenambakkam is shut till 11 p.m. today. A public holiday has also been issued, while private companies have been advised to operate through work from home. Authorities have set up nearly 5,000 relief centers in coastal districts to assist those affected by the heavy rain. To aid in relief and rescue efforts, authorities have stationed 8 NDRF and 9 SDRF teams in the affected districts of Vilupuram, Mayiladuthurai, Nagapattinam, Tiruvallur, Cuddalore and Chengalpattu. Authorities have said that once the rain stops, water clearance operation with pumps will begin.
Around a quarter kilometer, hundreds of people have to wade through this. Waters have entered several homes and hundreds of cars across Chennai remain in waters. That's a major loss of property and a major challenge for Chennaites. The Met Office says some parts of Chennai received up to 29 centimeters rain. For instance, Perungudi, around 10 kilometers from where I am right now, received 29 centimeters. Nungambakkam, they say, received up to 20 centimeters. And that's the reason why the city's stormwater drains, the newly built stormwater drains, are just unable to handle the quantum of water received or because of this downpour. And authorities say once the rain stops, then in most parts of the city the waters will automatically recede in 2 hours. in low-lying pockets where already waters have entered homes, they have deployed giant pumps, and that's going to be a major task. Across Tamil Nadu, around 4,500 relief centers have been started, and as we speak now, close to 700 people have been evacuated, largely from Kadalur district, Tiruvallur, and some from Chennai. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, who reviewed the situation, has assigned one senior bureaucrat for every zone in Chennai to be able to activate the mitigation efforts once the rain stops, and also to other districts. Tiruvallur is bearing the brunt of the extremely heavy rainfall it's receiving, and it's a public holiday in Chennai. All the schools, colleges, government offices except the emergency services are shut. Private companies were advised to allow the employees work from home. The Chennai airport remains shut. A dozen flights were cancelled to begin with. A few were diverted, but now unable to pump waters on the runway, the administration has decided to shut down till 11 tonight. So it's an anxious moment for people in Chennai, coastal Tamil Nadu, and they hope that Cyclone Michaung will swiftly cross this coast so that the havoc will be limited. In fact, the quantum of damage to property would emerge only after the waters recede, and for many this actually brings back memories of the 2005 floods. Call it the city's infrastructure collapsing, call it impact of climate change, call it unprecedented heavy downpour. Chennaites are really facing a nightmare, and they hope things would ease by end of this day.
Well, on to some market news. Markets are at an all-time high. Nifty and Sensex have surged over 1.5%, and Sensex in fact zoomed past 1,000 points. Nifty surged over 300 points, and experts believe that the stability it's because of the clarity on reforms, and they also say that stock markets are celebrating this political stability. My colleague Sakshi has more details.
Marvellous Monday for the markets, truly a marvellous Monday for the markets, with both the Nifty, the Sensex, the mid-cap index all at a record high. And of course, investors believe and experts believe this is after the BJP won 3 states in the assembly election results. The Nifty Sensex surged over 1.5% in trade today. At one point, we saw the Sensex zoom over 1,000 points, and the Nifty surge over 300 points as well. Now, experts essentially believe, and they of course have explained this to NDTV and to all of us, that economic stability, political stability also essentially reflects on the reforms coming into place, and then we see economic sensitive stocks outperform, and that's exactly what we've seen in trade today. We've seen stock markets celebrating essentially the political stability, the economic outperformance. Many analysts also saying, look, we've had strong economic data and we cannot ignore that. Remember, Q2 GDP data outperformed expectations. So all of these factors coming into play. And what's really interesting, of course, is the fact that it's not just restricted to heavyweight stocks and indices. Experts are saying this is now a broad-based rally. Small and mid-cap stocks have also outperformed. So clearly a celebration of political stability and economic clarity and growth at the moment.
And there's too much talking but very little being said. Too many voices but hardly any being heard. You turn to a show that puts you front and center. A show that headlines the stories of the people, by the people, for the people.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December. Come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene. 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
Welcome to Serious Business on NDTV.
$1 has only secured 0.6 cents of private capital. That needs to fundamentally change.
By mid-century, India's economy will grow 8-fold.
One topic.
When a family comes out of the poverty line, what would be the first asset class they would buy?
Welcome back. Adolescents and young people represent a growing share of people living with HIV worldwide. And the greatest impact of HIV is also on young people. The Birds and Bees Talk, a comprehensive age-appropriate life skills curriculum that educates adolescents and helps their transition as they become adults. Take a look.
मैं पहले ही नशा करता था, ये इंजेक्शन लेता था, ऐसे ही शेयर कर लेते थे हम एक दूसरे से। उसके चक्कर में मेरा HIV हो गई, मुझे जब भी पता नहीं चला। मैं फिर घर पे रहता रहा, नशे करता रहा, तो मेरा क्या हुआ, मैं कमज़ोर हो गया बहुत, ख़त्म से होने वाली हालत हो गई। मेरी मम्मी ने आखिरी देख के नशा मुक्ति में भेज दिया मुझे। नशा मुक्ति में जाते ही वो कराता है, वो ब्लड टेस्ट कराते हैं। ब्लड टेस्ट में मुझे पता चला मेरा HIV है। उसके बाद मैं रोया। पहले नहीं पता था इससे क्या होता है, क्या बीमारी, क्या नहीं है, पहले नहीं पता था, इसलिए थोड़ा रोना आता था। अब पता चल गया तो जीने की उम्मीद है।
This World AIDS Day has a lot of significance to me, and we know that India has been doing very well. If you compare from 2010 to 9, there has been a 37% reduction. It's a very effective reduction, but a lot needs to be done, especially programs like this. I feel very happy and honored to be invited for this.
For children living with HIV and the challenges they face. This year, World AIDS Day was the day they got to enjoy. It was planned and celebrated in a unique way to create joy, entertainment and support for these resilient young individuals.
आज का दिन मेरे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा था। वैसे जो मैंने और इस टॉपिक के बारे में भी जाना, HIV के बारे में, और जो मूवी वगैरह थी, इतने सारे शो हुए, उससे भी मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आगे भी ऐसे होते रहे।
To build a more inclusive, protected and aware society, Asacham Foundation with their CSR partner Reckitt, in collaboration with PBR Nest, organized a special program to commemorate World AIDS Day.
In our whole program today, the day started with showcasing the movie which has been chosen by the kids themselves. It's called Avatar. Followed by that, we actually, we arranged 3 other programs for them. The first program is with Rais Khan, who has performed on the folk songs and giving the messages on hygiene. The second program which we did was on empathy, on equity and equality. This program we have done with the characters of the Sesame Street by the Muppets. And the third one what we have done with the Moko Koza, who has flown specially from the Nagaland to Delhi today to perform in between the kids. There's a health kit which has been given to these kids. The kit has various things like it has Dettol soap, it has sanitizer, it has a clean towel, it has a nail cutter, it has a self-care directions for the kids so that they have a healthy and hygienic life.
Public-private partnership has been the epitome, in fact the central component of the way we look at our programs. First of all, they become more warmer, more meaningful and more and touching more lives because you have this large network which you are able to access while you partner. So this is a very, very critical way to look into any program development if it is for this large Indian community we are looking at, especially the children. And these partnerships land up creating huge impacts, huge objectives which are required for the development of these programs.
Everyone has a role and responsibility to ensure that children's rights are protected in communities affected by HIV and AIDS. Only when all stakeholders work together can we ensure no one is left behind.
A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center. Conversations that get to the core of the debate.
I think the first thing is one very important question. But I asked Deepinder Goyal first time I met him. So the thing, Zomato was then called Food eBay, right? And I used to visit the site regularly because it was the only restaurant listing site with all the menu cards, right? And I found that very useful. Hitesh Oberoi, our CEO, also found it useful. And we discussed one day, and he said, why don't you look at it for investment? And I said, yeah, why not? And I reached out to Dipinder. I didn't know him. I did in Google search to find him, and I sent him an email. And he came and met me, and the first question I asked him, yaar, Dipinder, the idea kahan se aaya? Where did you get this idea from? And he said, look, I was working in Bain Consulting, right? And it was in Gurgaon. It was an office with maybe 50 or 60 people, mostly young, mostly single, mostly male, many living away from their hometowns. What it meant was they wouldn't get food from home for lunch. And consulting hours were long, so you ended up, maybe having 2 meals in the office, lunch and dinner. And office had a cafeteria which would not serve food, but you could get your own food and eat it. So to make life easy for the employees, the admin team had collated menu cards of all restaurants that deliver there.
Yeah.
And so, and Dipinder said, it is a huge pain every day, 1 p.m. I go to the cafeteria, I have to wait in a line to access some file.
This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Cyclone Michaung is now at its worst almost off the coast of Chennai, parts of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Chennai airport shut till 11 p.m. Many parts of Chennai inundated amidst heavy rainfall. There's a rain red alert in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry as well. NDTV exclusive with the Telangana giant killer, the BJP's Ramana Reddy on defeating KCR. In Mizoram, the regional party, the ZPM, wins the Mizoram election. Chief Minister Zoramthanga loses his seat. After winning 3 seats, the BJP will decide chief ministers. There is suspense over chief ministers, who they'll be in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. Top India allies react on the Congress loss. Mamata Banerjee says it's the Congress which has been defeated, not the people. Akhilesh Yadav has a muted reaction. In Telangana, the Congress unseats the BRS. They will take a call on Chief Minister. Revant Reddy is the frontrunner. DK Shivkumar, the senior Congress leader, says the party's high command will decide on who will lead.
My tribe department, department will drop it.
In what clearly is a big setback for the Congress is the loss that has come in from the state of Chhattisgarh. The BJP winning over 50 seats, in fact 54 to be exact. And one of the leaders who lost this election was the former Deputy Chief Minister, T.S. Singh Deo. And he's joining us live. Mr. Deo, you lost by a narrow margin of 94 votes, but nevertheless, a loss is a loss. My question is, why do you think the Congress did so poorly?
Good evening, Maharaji. Good evening to all the viewers too. The BJP did well rather than the Congress did poorly, because even the details you're showing on TV indicate that the Congress vote share has not reduced. And the BJP has managed to jump from 32 to 46%. A 14% vote share increase is huge. How that has come about, why that has come about is what needs to be looked into and retrospected on. And I'm sure the Congress will be doing that. Well, they have won, so congratulations.
And will you accept that the tribal vote has shifted away from the Congress to the BJP? And the BJP and particularly Prime Minister Modi's tribal outreach has yielded dividends for them?
Not really, in the sense that the tribal vote has shifted, that there is little doubt on that. Because among the 26 seats in Bastar and Sarguja division, 12 in Bastar and 14 in Sarguja, the Congress has been able to win only 4. and those 4 are from Bastar. Congress did not succeed in winning even one seat in Sarguja commissionary area. So that is quite unbelievable, very sad, very unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And rather than the outreach, I think what has stood them in good stead is the program they launched for women and the way they went about it. They went to each household, they took a 10 rupee registration fee and they had forms filled in. So that has been a huge benefit for them. How much it translated into vote share, I really cannot comment. But on the ground, we felt it very, very palpably and very strongly. So they succeeded there. We could not keep the Sarv Adivasi Samaj together. This was a social organization who were not into politics. Various people with various political ideologies were part of that grouping. But somehow they drifted away, formed a political party and contested. So those were issues which we were not able to address, I suppose. So rather than an outreach, the fact of the matter is that the local situation probably needed a better handling.
Would you also say that, there was the corruption allegation against the Chief Minister and also almost like a personality cult that was built around Bhupesh Baghel that may have been responsible because on the other side was collective leadership?
There was no allegation against no action against any political person in the Congress. Some officers were apprehended. They are still in jail. And sadly, this politics of allegations was brought about just before the elections in the name of this Mahadev app. There too, the ED took out a press note indicating the Chief Minister's name, whereas they stated that there is no electronic trail. Yet this matter has come up, so we'll look into it. Very, very irresponsible sort of allegation, as if they are working for a particular political purpose. But they succeeded in doing that. And the action taken against officers earlier and some other people earlier, I think it did add up to this sort of a perception, particularly in urban areas, not in rural areas so much, but certainly I think in urban areas, these issues did make an impact.
Would you say that, the Congress could have projected a united front in the sense that projected a collective leadership of Mr. Baghel and you, because you were the Deputy CM, rather than going with just one face of Mr. Bhupesh Baghel?
We didn't go with one face. We went with the collective leadership. And if you see the pamphlets and posters that the party put up in hoardings or otherwise, even in newspapers, you had the PCC president, you had our chief minister, you had Charandas Mahanji there, you had Tamradhar Sahuji there. I was also part of that collage. We had Sheljaji there. We had the central leaders. So it was a clear message that we are fighting this under the collective leadership of congresspersons. The team was being headed by the sitting chief minister. That is true. But it was a team which was functioning. And the responsibility lies with each one of us.
The question will also be asked, what next, in the sense that if you have lost a state which you were poised to win because none of the exit polls gave it to the BJP, and you have lost it really with a huge margin in the sense that number of seats between the BJP and you, would you say that, going ahead in 2024, this would be a big headache with the tribal votes having shifted away from the Congress party?
For one, I don't think the tribal vote has shifted away. One tribal seat we lost by 14 votes. Another tribal seat, that is Kanker. Another tribal seat we lost by about 100 or 200 votes. That is Pathalgaon. Another seat in the tribal belt we lost by 94 votes, which is my seat. There would be other seats in this tribal belt where the margins are not so large. So this shifting, presentation of tribal votes having shifted from the Congress, I do not think it is true. Yet, there are seats in the tribal belt which we have lost by largest majorities. So we need to look into all of that and take a call and see how we can get the voters on board the Congress bandwagon.
My last question to you, Mr. Deo, the concerns will be certainly as to what Congress did wrong. But more than anything else, I want to understand from you, who will take the blame? Where do you think the Congress went wrong, in the sense, were you too complacent? Did the Congress take these elections in Chhattisgarh for granted?
Frankly, no, because no matter what we were saying in the media, in all our private consultations, all our party consultations, we were very aware that it is a contest. So we don't announce that in the media that we are seeing that it could be a close contest. That is the worst way in which you could probably fight an election. But to say that we were not aware of the situation is also very incorrect, because now I'm sharing with you what we were discussing behind closed doors. And we were not seeing ourselves as losing. Like you mentioned, none of the media surveys showed the Congress not forming the government. But we were very aware that 10 seats majority is what we are looking at. What we were looking at was 52 to 62. If you average it around 55, which is what the BJP has got, which, like you mentioned, is a very big mandate, it is far smaller than what we had in 2018. We had 68 seats. We had 3 by-elections, which we won, in fact, 5. And our numbers was at 71 sitting MLAs. From there, the BJP is today at 54. So it's not such a large mandate. And it is not as if we were not aware of it. We were fully knowing that this is the way it is. And when you see fractions, or when you see targets, or you see these slabs, a little here and there, and things can change. So we are aware. We are very aware of that. There was no complacency. There was confidence. And each time we talked about the confidence, we always talked about not being overconfident. I'm sharing this with you because you asked. And that is the fact of the matter. That we lost, we have to accept. And responsibility, if I have lost in Ambikapur, it is my responsibility. And then whoever's responsibility at whichever level, we all must stand up and take that responsibility, not put it on anybody else's shoulder. If I have lost in Ambikapur, it is whole and soul my responsibility. At any other level, whoever was responsible, it is their responsibility.
All right, but what about the Chief Minister? Will he take
Everyone,
responsibility as well? The outgoing Chief Minister?
ABCDEF. We cannot make a stipulation for one and not for the other. It is for every one of us. Every candidate who has not succeeded, but first take the responsibility on himself or herself. Okay. 9 of our sitting ministers we lost. So how can we put that responsibility on a third person before taking the responsibility on ourselves? And then, of course, the higher you are placed, the greater is the responsibility of every one of us.
All right, T.S. Singh Deo, thank you so much. I appreciate your time for NDTV.
Thank you so much for sharing time with me.
So that was T.S. Singh Deo, outgoing Deputy Chief Minister who lost his own constituency. In all, 9 ministers in Bhupesh Baghel's cabinet have lost this election. Certainly a very, very embarrassing defeat for the Congress in these elections. That's all from me. News and updates will continue with Vishnu on the other side.
Tell you something. I'll give you a little story of something that we did about maybe 15 years ago. At that time, we didn't know we were doing AI. It just looked like a smart algorithm. Now, it'll probably be classified as AI, okay? Or borderline AI, right? So at Naukri, we've got 80 million resumes. Recruitment managers come, log in, and they search this database of resumes to try and identify candidates they want to contact to hire them. Now, because the 80 million resumes, we have a problem of plenty. So the HR manager, the recruitment manager, puts in some criteria, say B.Tech computer science qualification, 3 to 5 years experience, and keywords Java, C++, right? Location Bangalore, right? He puts these in the structured fields, and maybe 500,000 matches are found. Now, there are many, many, many unarticulated criteria which the recruitment manager cannot put in the form. But the moment he sees the CV, he says yes, no basis, judgment. So and therefore what used to happen was that in the first page of the finds, he'd find 2 relevant resumes, although they all matched the criteria he put down. Page 2 and 3, nothing. Page 5, 3 more. So it would take him about 100 pages to get 50 good resumes. That would take him maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Right? And we said, is there a way we can identify these unarticulated criteria and somehow put all the relevant ones at the top on the first page? If you can save about a half an hour of your client's time.
And you managed to do that successfully?
Yes, we developed an algorithm. It took us a couple of years. We developed an algorithm that did precisely that. And it worked like a miracle because only 5 people in the company knew how it worked. And the moment we introduced it, our sales team all got calls from clients saying, what is this? What have you done? This is fantastic. Right? Now, that's how smart programming, AI, ML can help you.
And proprietary.
And proprietary.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me.
Well, the big story we are tracking, Cyclone Michaung currently swirling over the Bay of Bengal and headed towards the Andhra coast has unleashed torrential rain upon Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Heavy rainfall has been reported in north coastal Tamil Nadu encompassing Chennai, Chengalpattu, Kanchipuram, Nagapattinam and the Cuddalore districts, with Thiruvallur district bearing the brunt of the downpour. The cyclone is expected to make landfall between Nellore and Machilipatnam tomorrow noon. Chennai airport at Meenambakam has been shut till 11 p.m. tonight. Heavy water levels there as well. A public holiday has been issued. Private companies have been told to operate through work from home. Authorities have set up nearly 5,000 relief centers in coastal districts to assist those affected by the floods and heavy rains. To help in relief and rescue efforts, authorities have stationed 8 NDRF, that's the National Disaster Relief Force, and 9 State Disaster Relief Force teams in the affected districts of Viluppuram, Mayiladuthurai, Nagapattinam, Thiruvallur, Cuddalore and Chengalpattu. Authorities say once the rainfall stops, the water will be cleared with pumps. Sam Daniel joins us with the very latest. Sam, in terms of infrastructure being affected right now, what are you hearing?
Well, Vishnu, we come to you from the Oliver Road at Mylapore in Chennai. Well, I am in knee-deep waters. That's the situation in many roads across Chennai. And in terms of damages, hundreds of cars actually are in waters, and that's a major damage. There's no electricity since morning across Chennai. Train services, the airport has been shut. Many trains have been cancelled or partially cancelled or diverted. The Met Office says this could continue well till late this evening, although they had earlier said the intensity of the rain could be less by 3 o'clock. Now there is no sign of any such respite till the cyclone crosses Tamil Nadu coast. Authorities say this will continue. And some pockets of Chennai like Perangudi received up to 29 centimeters of rain. That's the kind of quantum of rain we're talking about. And although Chennai has a new set of expanded stormwater drains, it couldn't just handle the quantum of rains. Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Chief Minister.
How widespread is the flooding in Chennai itself?
In Chennai, while the arterial roads are free from inundation, Vishnu, the roads leading to residential colonies and areas like this, they are fully inundated because, number one, the stormwater drains are not able to handle. Number two, they're slightly low, so it's like a funnel, lots of water gets stagnant here. So authorities say it's a major challenge. Only if the rains stop, then there'll be automatic draining of waters. And in many low-lying areas, that's a nightmare because water has entered several homes. And there, authorities say they have installed giant pumps. And once the rain stops, their focus will shift to those areas to pump out waters. So without electricity, with waters in many homes, it is a major challenge, and this kind of extreme rainfall was not expected. Although the Met Office had said Chennai would receive very heavy rainfall, this was never expected.
All right,
and
Sam.
this in a sense brings back memories of the 2015 floods.
It does indeed, Sam. We'll keep coming back to you. Please stay safe over there in those waters. Thanks very much, Sam, for joining us with those details. Let's just go straight across to what the Prime Minister is saying in Maharashtra.
भारतवासी को जोश से भर रही है। आपके लिए ही कहा गया है, चलो चलो नई मिसाल हो, बढ़ो नया कमाल हो, झुको नहीं, रुको नहीं, बढ़े चलो, बढ़े चलो। मैं नौसेना परिवार के सभी सदस्यों को नेवी डे पर विशेष रूप से बधाई देता हूं। आज के दिन हम उन शूरवीरों को भी प्रणाम करते हैं जिन्होंने मातृभूमि के लिए अपना सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया है। साथियों, आज सिंधुदुर्ग की इस वीर भूमि से देशवासियों को नौसेना दिवस की बधाई देना वाकई अपने आप में बहुत बड़े गौरव की घटना है। सिंधुदुर्ग के ऐतिहासिक किले को देखकर हर भारतीय गर्व से भर जाता है। छत्रपति वीर शिवाजी महाराज जानते थे कि किसी भी देश के लिए समुद्री सामर्थ्य कितना जरूरी होता है। उनका उद्घोष था, जलमेव यस्य बलमेव तस्य, यानी जो समुद्र पर नियंत्रण रखता है वह सर्वशक्तिमान है। उन्होंने एक शक्तिशाली नौसेना बनाई। कान्होजी आंग्रे हो, मायाजी नाइक भाटकर हो, हीरोजी इंदालकर हो, ऐसे अनेक योद्धा आज भी हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है। मैं आज नौसेना दिवस पर देश के ऐसे पराक्रमी योद्धाओं को भी नमन करता हूं। साथियों, छत्रपति वीर शिवाजी महाराज से प्रेरणा लेते हुए आज भारत गुलामी की मानसिकता को पीछे छोड़कर आगे बढ़ रहा है। मुझे खुशी है कि हमारे नेवल ऑफिसर्स जो अपलेट्स पहनते हैं, अब उसमें छत्रपति वीर शिवाजी महाराज की विरासत की झलक भी देखने को मिलने वाली है। नए एपोलेट्स भी अब उनकी नौसेना के प्रतीक चिन्ह की तरह ही होंगे। ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि नौसेना के ध्वज को मुझे पिछले वर्ष छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की विरासत से जोड़ने का अवसर मिला था। अब एपोलेट्स में भी छत्रपति वीर शिवाजी महाराज का प्रतिबिंब हम सबको नजर आएगा। अपनी विरासत पर गर्व की भावना के साथ मुझे एक और घोषणा करते हुए आज गौरव हो रहा है। भारतीय नौसेना अब अपने रैंक्स का नामकरण भारतीय परंपराओं के अनुरूप करने जा रही है। हम सशस्त्र बलों में अपनी नारी शक्ति की संख्या बढ़ाने पर भी जोर दे रहे हैं। मैं नौसेना को बधाई दूंगा कि आपने नेवल शिप में देश की पहली महिला कमांडिंग अफसर की तैनाती की है। साथियों, आज का भारत अपने लिए बड़े लक्ष्य तय कर रहा है और उसे पाने के लिए अपनी पूरी शक्ति लगा रहा है। भारत के पास इन लक्ष्यों को पूरा करने के लिए एक बड़ी ताकत है। ये ताकत 140 करोड़ भारतीयों के विश्वास की है। ये ताकत दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र की मजबूती की है। कल आपने देश के 4 राज्यों में इसी ताकत की झलक देखी। देश ने देखा जब लोगों के संकल्प जुड़ते हैं, जब लोगों की भावनाएं जुड़ती हैं, जब लोगों की आकांक्षाएं जुड़ती है, तो कितने सकारात्मक परिणाम सामने आते हैं। अलग अलग राज्यों की प्राथमिकताएं अलग है, उनकी आवश्यकताएं अलग है, लेकिन सभी राज्यों के लोग राष्ट्र प्रथम की भावना से ओतप्रोत है। देश है तो हम है, देश आगे बढ़ेगा तो हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। यही भावना आज हर नागरिक के मन में है। आज देश इतिहास से प्रेरणा लेकर उज्जवल भविष्य के रोडमैप तैयार करने में जुट गया है। लोगों ने नकारात्मकता की राजनीति को हराकर हर क्षेत्र में आगे निकलने का प्रण किया है। यही प्रण हमें विकसित भारत की ओर ले जाएगा। यही प्रण देश का वो गौरव लौटाएगा जिसका ये देश हमेशा से हकदार है। साथियों, भारत का इतिहास सिर्फ 1000 साल की गुलामी का इतिहास नहीं है, सिर्फ हार और निराशा का इतिहास नहीं है। भारत का इतिहास विजय का इतिहास है। भारत का इतिहास शौर्य का इतिहास है। भारत का इतिहास ज्ञान और विज्ञान का इतिहास है। भारत का इतिहास कला और सृजन कौशल का इतिहास है। भारत का इतिहास हमारे सामुद्रिक सामर्थ्य का इतिहास है। सैकड़ों वर्ष पहले जब ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी, जब ऐसे संसाधन नहीं थे, तब उस जमाने में समंदर को चीरकर हमने सिंधु दुर्ग जैसे कितने ही किले बनवाए। भारत का सामुद्रिक सामर्थ्य हजारों साल पुराना है। गुजरात के लोथल में मिला सिंधु घाटी सभ्यता का पोर्ट आज हमारी बहुत बड़ी विरासत है। एक समय में सूरत के बंदरगाह पर 80 से ज्यादा देशों के जहाज लंगर डालकर रहा करते थे। चोल साम्राज्य ने भारत के इसी सामर्थ्य के बलबूते दक्षिण पूर्व एशिया के कितने ही देशों तक अपना व्यापार फैलाया। और इसलिए जब विदेशी ताकतों ने भारत पर हमला किया तो सबसे पहले हमारी इस शक्ति को निशाना बनाया गया। जो भारत नाव और जहाज बनाने के मशहूर था, उसकी ये कला, ये कौशल, सब कुछ ठप कर दिया गया। और जब हमने समंदर पर अपना नियंत्रण खोया, हमने अपनी सामरिक आर्थिक ताकत भी खो दी। इसलिए आज जब भारत विकसित होने के लक्ष्य पर चल रहा है, तो हमें अपने इस खोए हुए गौरव को फिर से पाकर के ही रहना है। इसलिए ही आज हमारी सरकार भी इससे जुड़े हर क्षेत्र पर फोकस करते हुए काम कर रही है। आज भारत ब्लू इकोनॉमी को अभूतपूर्व प्रोत्साहन दे रहा है। आज भारत सागर माला के तहत पोर्ट लेड डेवलपमेंट में जुटा है। आज भारत मैरीटाइम विजन के तहत अपने सागरों के पूरे सामर्थ्य का इस्तेमाल करने की ओर तेज गति से बढ़ रहा है। मर्चेंट शिपिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए भी सरकार ने नए नियम बनाए हैं। सरकार के प्रयासों से बीते 9 वर्षों में भारत में सी फेरर्स की संख्या में 140% से ज्यादा बढ़ोतरी हुई है। मेरे साथियों, ये भारत के इतिहास का वो कालखंड है जो सिर्फ 5-10 साल का नहीं बल्कि आने वाली सदियों का भविष्य लिखने वाला है। 10 वर्ष से भी कम के कालखंड में भारत दुनिया में 10वें नंबर की आर्थिक ताकत से बढ़कर 5वें नंबर पर पहुंच गया है और अब बहुत तेजी से 3रे नंबर के आर्थिक महाशक्ति बनने की तरफ आज भारत अग्रसर है। आज देश विश्वास और आत्मविश्वास से भरा हुआ है। आज दुनिया को भारत में विश्व मित्र का उदय होता दिख रहा है। आज स्पेस हो या फिर समंदर, हर जगह दुनिया को भारत का सामर्थ्य दिख रहा है। आज पूरी दुनिया भारत, मिडिल ईस्ट, यूरोप इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर की चर्चा कर रही है। जिस स्पाइस रूट को अतीत में हमने खो दिया था, वो अब फिर से भारत की समृद्धि का सशक्त आधार बनने जा रहा है। आज मेड इन इंडिया की चर्चा पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है। तेजस विमान हो या किसान ड्रोन, यूपीआई सिस्टम हो या फिर चंद्रयान 3, हर जगह, हर सेक्टर में मेड इन इंडिया की धूम है। आज हमारी सेनाओं की अधिकतर जरूरतें मेड इन इंडिया अस्त्र शस्त्र से ही पूरी की जा रही है। देश में पहली बार ट्रांसपोर्ट एयरक्राफ्ट का निर्माण शुरू हो रहा है। पिछले साल ही मैंने कोची में स्वदेशी एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर आईएनएस विक्रांत को नौसेना में कमीशन किया था। आईएनएस विक्रांत मेक इन इंडिया, आत्मनिर्भर भारत का एक सशक्त उदाहरण है। आज भारत दुनिया के कुछ गिने चुने देशों में है जिसके पास ऐसा सामर्थ्य है। साथियों, बीते वर्षों में हमने पहले की सरकारों की एक और पुरानी सोच को बदला है। पहले की सरकारें हमारे सीमावर्ती और समुद्र किनारे बसे गांवों को, इलाकों को अंतिम गांव मानती थी। हमारे रक्षा मंत्री जी ने अभी उसका उल्लेख भी किया। इस सोच के कारण हमारे तटीय क्षेत्र भी विकास से वंचित रहे। यहां मूल सुविधाओं का अभाव रहा। आज समंदर किनारे बसे हर परिवार के जीवन को बेहतर बनाना केंद्र सरकार की प्राथमिकता है। यह हमारी सरकार है जिसने 2019 में पहली बार फिशरीज सेक्टर के लिए अलग मंत्रालय बनाया। हमने फिशरीज सेक्टर में लगभग 40,000 करोड़ का निवेश किया है। इस वजह से 2014 के बाद से भारत में मछली उत्पादन 80% से ज्यादा बढ़ा है। भारत से मछली का एक्सपोर्ट भी 110% से ज्यादा बढ़ा है। अपने मछुआरों की मदद करने के लिए सरकार हर संभव कोशिश कर रही है। हमारी सरकार ने मछुआरों के लिए बीमा कवर 2 लाख से बढ़ाकर 5 लाख किया है। देश में पहली बार मछुआरों को किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड का भी लाभ मिला है। सरकार
Well, the Prime Minister speaking in Sindhudurg in Maharashtra. It is Navy Day today. The Prime Minister making lots of critical points about India's maritime heritage. He spoke about Atmanirbharta. He spoke about the commissioning of warships which were entirely made in India. He spoke about the future of technology in many areas, from space to warships to drones as well. He spoke about the Tejas aircraft which is made in India. And I think the overall recognition by the Prime Minister of the importance of our maritime resources, our geographical presence, the fact that he spoke about the Indian Navy, he spoke about farmers as well, is a clear recognition of the importance of our peninsula in the Indian Ocean and the future of our maritime resources, with our economy being so closely tied up to the oceans as it has been for thousands of years. We'll take a short break, more coming up.
I want to talk a little bit about higher education in India, because Ashoka University, certainly most or all will agree that it's been a success. So if you look at the ingredients of that success, what worked? It was a new bet in a sense.
So I think we started with a few sort of guiding principles, the group of us who came together. And we said first thing is we will do liberal arts and sciences and not typically engineering or management first, because those are solved problems. We want to do a model and attack a problem which needs solving. And we felt liberal arts and sciences had not been addressed by private higher education institutions adequately. So one was, that's a focus area, because there's a gap there, a need gap. Second, we said we will not follow the UK system, which is prevalent in India, which is you choose a subject and you study it. That's it. However, the US system, where in your first 2 years you do breadth and width, which is you study many subjects, and then you declare a major at the end of second year. You know, in India, our subjects and major are decided by our class 12 marks.
Indeed.
And not by what we want to do.
Exactly.
Right? And we said we want to change that. So that's the second thing that is changing. Right? The third is we said we'll do collective philanthropy. It will not be one person's or one family's or one business house's university. Because if you have so no matter how much a person donates, he or she or that business house will only have one seat on the board. So I could donate 25 times what the smallest donor has given, but we'll both have the same single seat on the board. Because we felt that that is what will ensure the independence of the university and the academicians and the program, and it will not be sort of subject to the decisions of just one person. And that is what ensures the university's independence, and that is what ensures academic freedom and independence at Ashoka.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
The Mizoram People's Movement has won and is all set to form the next government in Mizoram after the party swept the elections, bagging 27 seats in the 40-member House. the Mizoram polls saw a triangular fight between the MNF, the ZPM and the Congress party. These three parties contested all the 40 assembly constituencies. The Bharatiya Janata Party was also present but as a side player, contesting only 23 seats. The Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga has lost from the Aizawl East constituency to the ZPM's Lalduhsoma by a margin of 2,000 votes. My colleague Ratnadeep spoke to R. Dromingliana, the MNF leader, and Saptanga, the working president of the ZPM.
Joining us now is ZPM's Vice President and the candidate who has defeated Chief Minister Zoramthanga, Mr. Lalduhsoma. You are a giant killer in a way. Three-time Chief Minister Zoramthanga has been defeated this time by you. You know, it seems that there was a wave behind your party. What are the reasons of this landslide victory?
See, my contender is very big man. He's a Mizoram Chief Minister for 3 times. When nomination committee is put me on Aizawl East 1. So my first survey is, from my survey I learned who he is. He is not very hard target. He is very soft target. Because the way he manages, he look after his constituency is based on the party, not based on the people. So that's why people are not satisfied with their MLA as well as Chief Minister. So this is the main reason how I come to this election.
But tell us, in terms of the overall result, the Congress also could not, their performance was really bad. And it seems that both the Congress and the MNF, the two old parties, have been rejected and people have chosen a young party which is only 6 years old. Why, how this transition has taken place in Mizoram politics?
This is very marathon to explain it also, but in short, because Congress, MNF, they both are ruling. But this is people are get rid of. There's not much things to do for the generations of new generations for their future. So they are, they are hungry for the power only. If they win, that's all. For the next, they are preparing, because this MNF Congress are, the main campaign for this slogan is different, but money power can defeat the people's mind. So that's why in Aizawl East one also, that money power can, if it's work, I will definitely defeat. But money power doesn't work much. So that's why I defeat him.
One last question. The BJP has kept on saying that even if we win 2 seats, we'll be part of the government. Now you have a clear majority. If an offer comes from BJP, will you take their support or make them part of the government?
This is a policy matter, so we cannot comment about this thing. See, our party executive committee making decision not to have any coalition with any party. Since this is our executive resolution, so we resolve it. So we cannot saying about this coalition or like partnership. If the executive is resolved again, then only we can give a comment in this matter.
Well, another India ally, Akhilesh Yadav, has reacted in a somewhat conciliatory tone after the defeat of the Congress in 3 states in the Hindi heartland yesterday. In the past few months, Akhilesh Yadav has repeatedly attacked the Congress party, even accusing the Congress of trying to wipe out the Samajwadi Party's ideology.
लोकसभा चुनाव बहुत दूर नहीं है, हम बैठकर चर्चा करेंगे कहाँ कमियां रह गई, क्योंकि पूरी ताकत से चुनाव लड़ा, अभी कामयाब नहीं हो सके, इसका विश्लेषण करना पड़ेगा। और बहरहाल पब्लिक ने हमको जो मैंडेट दिया है वो विपक्ष में बैठने का दिया है। लोकसभा चुनाव बहुत जल्द आने वाले हैं, तो जो भी हम लोगों को डिस्कशन करना है पार्टी प्लेटफॉर्म पर करेंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना मानता हूं कि हमें पूरी ताकत से, पूरी हिम्मत से अच्छा चुनाव लड़ा, फिर भी हम कामयाब नहीं हुए, इस बात का हमें खेद है। हम लोग एक मजबूत विपक्ष आज हैं और पूरी ताकत से जनता के बीच में रह के नई सरकार को काम करने के लिए मजबूत करेंगे।
All right, so that is Sachin Pilot, in fact, speaking about the loss of the Congress party in Rajasthan. But let's listen in to what Akhilesh Yadav has said about the impact of the loss to the India Alliance.
हम लोग निराश नहीं हैं और राजनीति में, लोकतंत्र में इस तरह के परिणाम आते हैं और जो भी परिणाम आएंगे वो कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है उसको स्वीकार करेगी, लेकिन लड़ाई लंबी है। इन परिणामों से हमें और जिन लोगों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी जैसी बड़ी पार्टी का मुकाबला करना है उन्हें बहुत तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आने वाले समय में परिणाम दूसरे होंगे।
सर, सबसे पहले जो रिजल्ट आया उसके ऊपर क्या कहना है?
निश्चित तौर से जो 4 राज्यों में चुनाव हुए हैं उसमें हमारी 3 राज्यों में हम हारे हैं और एक राज्य हम जीते हैं भारी बहुमत से, जो साउथ का एक बड़ा राज्य है तेलंगाना। निश्चित तौर से उसकी समीक्षा हो रही है, राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व कर रहा है। हम सब लोग उस पर चिंतित हैं कि क्या कारण से ये चीज़ें आई हैं और इस पर निश्चित तौर से आगे जो भी कमियां हमसे रही हों या कुछ निर्णय लेने में जो कमी रह गई उसको हम ठीक करेंगे और हमारा प्रयास होगा कि आने 2024 में मजबूती के साथ खड़े होंगे। और एक बात मैं साफ कहना चाहूँगा कि इसके पहले भी हम तीनों राज्य जीते थे, राजस्थान भी जीते थे, छत्तीसगढ़ भी जीते थे, मध्य प्रदेश जीते थे, पर लोकसभा चुनाव में वहाँ हम सीट हमें नहीं मिली थी। मध्य प्रदेश में 1 सीट मिली थी, छत्तीसगढ़ में शायद 2 सीट थी और राजस्थान में 1 भी सीट नहीं थी। तो निश्चित तौर से अपनी चीज़ों को ठीक करते हुए ये चीज़ें हम मजबूती से 2024 में हम लोकसभा का चुनाव जीतेंगे।
निर्णय की सर अगर बात करें तो कहीं ना कहीं समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ अलायंस नहीं हुआ, तो क्या वो निर्णय से कुछ नुकसान पहुंचा? क्योंकि कांग्रेस की मजबूती बहुत बताई जा रही थी मध्य प्रदेश में, तो क्या उस निर्णय से कहीं ना कहीं नुकसान हुआ, चाहे वो किसी भी तरीके से?
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा कि ये अलायंस जो बना है ये 2024 पार्लियामेंट के लिए बना है। पहली बात आपको बताता हूँ, ये विधानसभा के अलायंस है।
अच्छा, तो वो 2024 के लिए ही और अब 2024 के अंदर अलायंस रहेगा, क्योंकि अब समाजवादी पार्टी का भी देख रहे हैं सॉफ्ट थोड़ा स्टैंड थोड़ा सा सॉफ्ट।
वो जो भी तैयारी थी आपको शायद पहले से भी जानकारी होगी कि विधानसभा चुनाव के लिए नहीं, 2024 के लिए ये अलायंस की जो भी इंडिया गठबंधन की बात की 2024 की बात है।
चुनाव को लेकर अगर तैयारी की बात करें तो कांग्रेस किस तरीके से तैयारी कर रही है?
कल हमारी मीटिंग है, प्रदेश कार्यकारिणी हमने बुलाया है और पूरी ताकत के साथ हम लोग आगे तैयारी करने जा रहे हैं और नई स्ट्रेटजी, नई पूरी तैयारी के साथ हम लोग उतरेंगे इस पर मैदान।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। तो ये थे अजय राय जी जिन्होंने हमसे बात करी। अब फिलहाल जो 5 राज्य के चुनाव थे वो खत्म हो गए हैं, अब जो नज़र है सबकी वो टिकी हुई है 2024 लोकसभा इलेक्शन के ऊपर।
Well, in Telangana, the Congress has unseated the BRS. They've done incredibly well. It was their consolation win after the disastrous performance further north in the Hindi heartland. They will now, the Congress, take a call on who will be their chief minister, with Revant Reddy clearly the front runner.
What is the formula being worked out?
What formula? Generally, the procedure is there in Congress party. Congress party. Observer will take the opinion of all MLAs. The opinion they will give it to High Command. Final decision will be taken by the High Command only.
Your brother is certainly a contender because he is the senior most among the leaders.
No, that is why I am telling. There are so many contenders, 4 or 5 people maybe. The observer will take the opinion of all MLAs. They will tell the High Command of opinion of the MLAs. Finally, High Command will take the decision of who is going to be a CM. Thank you.
Well, the BJP may be out, but certainly not down as far as Telangana is concerned. They have improved their performance both in terms of seats and also in terms of vote share. One of the leaders who's done quite well is the BJP's Ramana Reddy. He's defeated KCR. Let's just listen in to what he said in this exclusive interview to my colleague Maria Shakil.
One of the biggest victories or the stunner in Telangana was a victory that happened in Kamareddy. BJP's Venkata Ramana Reddy who's now being called popularly as KVR, had defeated, in fact has defeated KCR, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, and also Telangana Pradesh Congress Committee Chief Revant Reddy. He is joining me live. Venkata Ramana Reddy, सबसे पहले बहुत बहुत बधाई, congratulations. आपने सोचा था ऐसा होगा?
हाँ सोचा था मैडम, मैं पहले दिन में एनडीटीवी में भी बोला था, मैं यहाँ पे आके इंटरव्यू ले लिया तो टाइम पे मैं बोला था 100% जीतूंगा, बराबर उन लोग दोनों को हराऊंगा बोल के जब भी बोला था मैं।
ये मार्जिन ऑफ विक्ट्री 7,000 के करीब है, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि ये जो सीट है जहां पर चीफ मिनिस्टर भी लड़ रहे थे जो आउटगोइंग हैं, और जो पोटेंशियल चीफ मिनिस्टर है रेवंत रेड्डी वो भी लड़ रहे थे, तो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंजर आपके लिए कौन था, केसीआर या रेवंत रेड्डी?
दोनों बेहतरीन लीडर है, मशहूर लीडर है। ये पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हो, अब आने वाले मुख्यमंत्री हो, दोनों भी बहादुर लोग है, बेहतरीन लोग हैं। उन लोगों कोई कम आगे पीछे बोल के नहीं है। 12,000 का तकरीबन में तीनों हैं हम लोग, जो भी मेरा को केसीआर साहब को 6,000 और केसीआर साहब को रेवंत रेड्डी साहब को और 6,000, पूरा मिलके 12,000 से हम तीनों हैं। लेकिन या दोनों आने के बाद अब मेरे को एनडीटीवी तक पहुंचना, उसका उन लोग आके यहाँ पे कॉन्टेस्ट किया, इसलिए मैं एनडीटीवी तक पहुंच गया। अदरवाइज आउट ऑफ 119 हम एक है, उसमें इतना स्पेशल नहीं रहता था, इसलिए उन लोग दोनों को मैं शुक्रिया अदा कर रहा हूँ, प्रणाम कर रहा हूँ।
आप 8 एमएलएज में से हैं जो भाजपा के हैं। पहले 2018 में भाजपा की 1 सीट थी, आज 5 साल के बाद भाजपा की 8 सीट है, वो आप 8 लोगों में से हैं, लेकिन सबसे अहम विक्ट्री तो ये है जो आपकी है।
जी, ये तो हम 5 साल से पब्लिक में काम कर रहे हैं। गए साल में 15,000 16,000 तकरीबन 16,000 वोट आया था। जब सोचा मेरा टारगेट इज 2023, अगला 5 साल में पूरा पार्टी कैडर स्ट्रेंथ करना, बाद में एंटी गवर्नमेंट एजुटेशन करना, बाद में मैं वोट पोलराइजेशन होना बोल के ये 3 स्टेप ले लिया। पहला 2 साल पूरा कैडर स्ट्रेंथ के लिए करा था, बाद में मैं एंटी एजुटेशन किया। एंटी एजुटेशन अपना महिलाओं का, ड्वाक्रा महिलाओं का, डबल बेडरूम का, मास्टर प्लान का, पब्लिक का जो भी समस्या है वो समस्या के लिए मैं समस्या ढूंढ के परिष्कार करता था।
क्या ये सिग्नल है कि भाजपा का वोट परसेंटेज तो बढ़ा ही है ओवरऑल? अगर भाजपा का कैंडिडेट कांग्रेस के स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट और बीआरएस जो बीआरएस के स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट को हराता है, तो क्या भाजपा का ग्रोथ दिखा रहा है?
जी, अभी 6.9 वोट था गैस चुनाव में, तो 2018 में 6.9 था। अभी वो 14% डबल हो गया, एकदम 100% हो गया। लेकिन ये चुनाव में गवर्नमेंट बीजेपी बनाने को कोशिश करा, लेकिन एंटी टीआरएस वोट, एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को कैच नहीं करा। इसका बीच में कांग्रेस बढ़ के गया, वो गारंटी दे दो, कुछ भी दे दो, वो एंटी गवर्नमेंट का वोटा पूरा इट्स टर्न टू कांग्रेस साइड। दैट्स व्हाई इट्स अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम टू अस। तेलंगाना में पहला बीजेपी का ही अच्छा था, फिर वो बढ़ते आ गया, लेकिन पब्लिक का वोट तो हासिल नहीं कर सका अपन। लेकिन जो भी हार्डकोर कार्यकर्ता है, जो भी 5 साल से जीतने के लिए काम कर रहा है, वो सब लोग जीत गया। एक 5-6 सीट भी 1000 वोट 1200 वोट ऐसा, ईटल राजेंद्र साहब, बंडी संजय साहब, अरविंद साहब, दो ये ऐसा मशहूर लोग भी हार गया 1000 2000 3000 में। लेकिन वो बदकिस्मत है, लेकिन हमारा हिसाब से 22-25 सीट्स आते बोल के सब लोग सोचे, लेकिन 8 के परिमित हो गया।
आपने क्या गलत किया? आपको लगता है कि बांदी संजय को हटाना और उसके बाद एक नए पार्टी चीफ को लाना, ये सब जो किशन रेड्डी जी को लाना, ये सब जो हुआ है बहुत सही समय पर नहीं हुआ? अगर ये सब जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रीशफल है अगर पहले हो गया होता तो रिजल्ट कुछ और होता भाजपा का?
सॉरी मैडम, दूसरा टीवी वाले फोन कर रहा है, इसमें से डिस्टर्बेंस हो रहा है। सॉरी टू।
आप सुपरस्टार हो गए इसीलिए आपको बार-बार फोन आ रहा है।
नहीं।
एनडीटीवी के अलावा भी बहुत सारे चैनल्स आपसे बात करना चाह रहे हैं।
हम स्टार नहीं है, सुपरस्टार नहीं है साहब, और अपना ये केसीआर साहब दोनों मिलके हमारा को स्टार बना है, लेकिन हम खुद का स्टार नहीं है। स्टार वार्ड्स के बीच में स्टार हो गया। लेकिन जो भी है, हम तो यहाँ पे दो बात है आप पूछे सो। एक बात, किशन रेड्डी साहब जो सीनियर है, अच्छा आदमी है, सबसे मिल के रहते, ये सेंसिटिव है, सबसे अच्छा बात करते, सबसे मैनेजमेंट भी अच्छा करता उन्हें। लेकिन किशन रेड्डी साहब के वजह से पार्टी कम नहीं हुआ। संजय साहब को निकाल के पार्टी गलत करे बोल के भी नहीं बोल रहा, क्योंकि ये समय नहीं है। 6 महीने के पहले ऐसा करे सो टाइम पे प्रॉब्लम हो गया, बस उतना ही। लेकिन इसमें कोई गलत नहीं है, कोई अच्छा बुरा नहीं है। वो तो संजय साहब का वो 6 महीने पहले निकलना वो प्रॉब्लम हो गया। फिर किशन रेड्डी साहब आया, जब एक दिन में सुधारना पूरा स्टेट को बोले तो टाइम तो नहीं है। इसके बीच में कांग्रेस पिकअप हो गया, वो उसका वजह से कांग्रेस लीड हो गया। लेकिन वो 63 सीट, इट इज अ वेरी नॉर्मल, इट इज नॉट लैंडस्लाइड विक्ट्री।
ये भी कहा जा रहा है रमना रेड्डी जी के आपने रेवंत रेड्डी जी को हेल्प किया है क्योंकि आपने उनका वोट काटा है।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं।
Meanwhile, the Trinamool Congress chief Mamata Banerjee has said that the Congress party has been defeated, but it's not the defeat of the people. She also mentioned that some votes have been cut by India parties and that a strategy is needed with ideology to fight the juggernaut of the BJP.
भाई देखिए, मैं आस्था रखने वाला या खोने वाला कोई नहीं हूँ। लोकतंत्र में लोग लास्ट वर्ड है, और कांग्रेस में जो लोग चाहते हैं कि भाई सब मिलके बीजेपी के साथ लड़ाई करे, मैं उनको यही कह सकता हूं कि समय कम है। आप अपने हिसाब से सबको इकट्ठा करने का जो प्रयास है वो शुरू तो हो ही चुका है। उसको फिर से एक बार करके अगर एक साथ लड़ाई करना चाहे तो इट शुड रिफ्लेक्ट इन योर एक्शन, नॉट योर वर्ड्स।
Well, strong statements from both Abhishek Banerjee and Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress had earlier advocated that a seat-sharing arrangement between the India Alliance parties should be worked out in the state elections, but it was the Congress that had said that it would decide, take a call on these issues post these state elections. That's what sources had said. Now, of course, today on the floor of the West Bengal Assembly, Mamata Banerjee saying that it was the lack of seat sharing that led to the Congress defeat. The Congress should have done seat sharing. In fact, she went on to say that India parties did cut votes, and had there been seat sharing, that wouldn't have happened. She also said this is a defeat of the Congress, not the people. People have spoken against the BJP, and then went on to add that India Alliance will work together, and if there is any mistake, it will be rectified and we will learn from our mistakes. Earlier in the day, Abhishek Banerjee had also said something similar, saying that India Alliance would actually have to now sit together and work, because this is something that the Congress did on its own. And obviously in all of this, to contextualize what's being said, the India Alliance partners are now going to give the Congress some hard talk over the Congress's insistence on leaving seat sharing for later, and going on to say the Congress would have to now, to quote a Trinamool Congress spokesperson, drop its zamindari attitude and be more accommodative and adjust. And Mamata Banerjee also saying, along with ideology, we need strategy to take on the BJP. And if we come together, then of course the BJP can be defeated in 2024. So tough lessons for the Congress, tough words for the Congress from India Alliance parties, especially the Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee, effectively pointing out that the Congress should do a seat sharing agreement as soon as possible before the 2024 polls. Otherwise, they could have a result like what we saw in these states that have recently concluded polls.
All right, so what's going to happen to the India alliance going into 2024? Yesterday's loss, very, very significant. Where does that leave the Congress within the alliance? Can everything be forgotten? What about strategy? We'll be looking at that very closely on Left, Right and Centre tonight at 9 p.m. as well. For the moment, goodbye. Hello, Namaste and Salam UAE. We are here to celebrate exceptional success stories of leading individuals in the realty industry across the United Arab Emirates. The Realty Awards, brought to you by NKN Media in partnership with NDTV, will also provide a vision for the realty landscape in the UAE. Coming soon, only on NDTV.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Tell you something, I'll give you a little story of something that we did about maybe 15 years ago. At that time, we didn't know we were doing AI. It just looked like a smart algorithm. Now, it'll probably be classified as AI. Okay, or borderline AI, right? So at Naukri, we've got 80 million resumes. Recruitment managers come, log in, and they search this database of resumes to try and identify candidates they want to contact to hire them. Now, because the 80 million resumes, we have a problem of plenty. So the HR manager, the recruitment manager, puts in some criteria, say B.Tech computer science qualification.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello, good evening and welcome to NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi, starting with our top focus on the headlines first, and then of course we'll go to Chennai where the Cyclone Michaung is at this moment in fact showing its impact. Cyclone Michaung, Chennai airport has been shut till 11 p.m. Many parts of Chennai inundated amid heavy rainfall. Red alert has been also issued for Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. NDTV speaks to Telangana giant killer BJP's Ramana Reddy on defeating KCR, and Revanth Reddy in fact also speaks about his party's fortunes in Telangana. The sweep for the regional parties at PM in Mizoram. Chief Minister Zomato loses his seat in the anti-incumbency that has now changed under the government. After winning 3 states, BJP now in a huddle to decide the chief minister. Suspense over chief ministers in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. And will Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Mama, get the job back in Madhya Pradesh? Top India allies react to Congress's loss in the Hindi heartland. Bengal Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee says Congress defeated not the people. Akhilesh Yadav's muted response to the loss. Meanwhile, after unseating the BRS, the regional satrap in Telangana, now the Congress party in a huddle over the chief minister. Revanth Reddy is the front runner. Testing time there in Chennai and Tamil Nadu. In fact, Cyclone Michaung currently swirling over the Bay of Bengal and is heading towards the Andhra coast, has unleashed torrential rain upon Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Heavy rainfall was reported in north coastal Tamil Nadu encompassing Chennai, Chengalpattu and Kanchipuram, along with Nagapattinam and Kadalur districts, with Tiruvallur district bearing the brunt of the downpour. The cyclone is expected to make landfall between Nellore and Machilipatnam tomorrow noon. The Chennai airport in Meena has been shut down till 11 p.m. this evening. A public holiday has also been declared. While the private companies have been advised to operate through work from home, authorities have set up 5,000 relief centers in coastal districts of the state to assist those impacted by the heavy rainfall. To aid in relief and rescue measures, authorities have stationed 8 NDRF and 9 SDRF teams in affected districts of Viluppuram, Maldipurai, Nagapattinam, Tiruvallur, Kodalur and Chengalpattu. Now, authorities have also said that once the rain stops, water clearance operations will begin. Meanwhile, some disturbing and, of course, these images that I am showing you at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, in the capital city, Chennai, bringing back the horror and people, in fact, thinking about the 2015 floods. In many places, cars were, in fact, being swept away as if they were boats in a river.
We come to you from the Oliver Road at Mylapore in Chennai. Well, I am in knee-deep waters. That's the situation in many roads across Chennai. And in terms of damages, hundreds of cars actually are in waters, and that's a major damage. There's no electricity since morning across Chennai. Train services, the airport has been shut. Many trains have been cancelled or partially cancelled or diverted. The Met Office says this could continue well till late this evening, although they had earlier said the intensity of the rain could be less by 3 o'clock. Now there is no sign of any such respite till the cyclone crosses Tamil Nadu coast. Authorities say this will continue. And some pockets of Chennai like Perangudi received up to 29 centimeters of rain. That's the kind of quantum of rain we're talking about. And although Chennai has a new set of expanded stormwater drains, it couldn't just handle the quantum of rains. Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin.
Meanwhile, Cyclone Michaung led incessant rains across Tirupati, Annamaya, Nellore and Chittoor districts of Andhra Pradesh as well since Saturday, now paralyzing life completely across these districts on Sunday as well. Let me go across to my colleague Pratibha Raman, who is joining us on the phone line with more details on this. Pratibha, what's the situation right now? And ahead of the landfall tomorrow, things would only become more complex.
That's right. In fact, the police are on a war footing right now to ensure that things are really safe and sound before the landfall. And several relief efforts are also being made at this point in time in several different districts. And in fact, the first to be affected has been the Tirupati district in Andhra Pradesh, where the Sulu Pet police are carrying out relief efforts. They've been carrying the elderly from the low-lying areas to the rehabilitation centers. Most have been shifted to the rehabilitation centers in Tirupati alone. And we are also talking about alert being issued to other districts like Tirupati, Nellore, Prakasam, Bapatla, Savary, Kolasima, and so all these kind of efforts are being put in place, especially the areas near Krishna district and Bapatla is where the landfall is expected. And according to the information that we've collected from the collector, he seems to suggest that the landfall could be expected anytime between 12 midnight and 1. That's when it could be extremely severe near those areas. A lot of fields have also been affected. A lot of farmers as well as fishermen will be affected. So all of them have been shifted to the rehabilitation centers, at least around 59 that have been set up along the coastal areas there.
Thank you, Pratibha, for joining us with all those details. In fact, here's hoping and praying that people remain safe as far as this cyclone is concerned in southern India. All right, now moving on to some election, in fact, related news. Mizoram Chief Minister today, in fact, remember 4 states yesterday, the one which was left, Mizoram, the counting there took place today. Mizoram Chief Minister Zonamthanga lost his seat as well. Now, this was a strong anti-incumbency wave against the MNF government, and he has now resigned following his party's poor show in the state polls. He submitted his resignation to the governor, Dr. Hari Babu, at Raj Bhavan today. The Zoram People's Movement, an alliance of 6 parties, has crossed the halfway mark where the assembly polls were held on November 7th, the first state to go to the polls. The party has won 21 seats in the 40-member assembly and has also and is leading on 6 others. So 21 is the halfway mark. They have already won those 21 seats. 6 they are leading, so they'll possibly end up with 27, in fact, seats at the end of the day. Now, Lalduhsoma, an ex-IPS officer who served as the in charge of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's security, is the chief minister face for the Mizoram People's Movement. Let's just listen in to some reactions.
Because of the anti-incumbency effect, and the people are aggrieved and not satisfied with my performance because of this COVID onslaught. So I lost my government, and therefore I am really satisfied and accepted the verdict of the people, and I hope that the next government will perform well.
So, strong anti-incumbency. 5 state polls, ladies and gentlemen. 4 governments routed. Only 1 has been able to survive. That is the Bharatiya Janata Party's government in the state of Madhya Pradesh, despite being in power for 18.5 years. Now, after the defeat, specifically in the Hindi heartland, the North India, the Congress top sources are, in fact, meeting on the loss. There are discussions, deliberations going on. The Congress top sources have told NDTV mistakes were made and course correction will be done. Improper candidates cost us in the last few days. They also said that we'll find a way to work unitedly in India bloc. Let me go across to my colleague Sunil Prabhu, who is joining us with more details on this. Sunil, now, to say the least, this is going to be a very demoralizing defeat as far as the Congress party is concerned. Many would argue that the party could have or was poised to win, if not, all 4, but at least 3 of the states that counted yesterday. Now, post this, what is the Congress party's course correction? What is it, the churning which is going on inside the party?
Well, a lot of churning, as you rightly said, is taking place within the party. A lot of issues that they need to address. As you rightly pointed out, I've been speaking to top Congress sources in the party who categorically say that a lot of mistakes were done, where we needed to change candidates, where we needed to give a fresh look. We weren't able to do so. We are back to the drawing room, in the drawing board in terms of how to go about issues. But most importantly, I think the biggest point that they are trying to send a message at this present juncture is that they will try to take things forward. They have called a coordination committee meeting of the India Alliance on the 6th. They're hoping that as many people will participate in that meeting to take things forward, to work unitedly, to take on the BJP-led NDA in the coming months ahead of the 2024 elections. But as you pointed out, a lot of mistakes. And for example, and we can go from state to state, be it in Madhya Pradesh, be it in Rajasthan, be it in Chhattisgarh, they say that certain decisions, overconfidence, in some cases, lackluster campaign at the end, and not taking things forward. These are certain issues that have cost the party dearly.
Sunil, is there a sense that you get from speaking to your sources in the Congress party that this possibly, and just 4 months now left for the Lok Sabha elections, there isn't much time that is left for the general elections. Is the Congress looking at some sort of, dynamic changes as far as their organization, specifically in the states which they have lost, is concerned, moving towards younger leadership, and trying to in fact shed the baggage of the old faces?
Definitely. In fact, there is definitely going to be seen younger faces. I think that's the, we can definitely see in Madhya Pradesh, for example, that change will definitely take place. As we speak, the Congress president is consulting with the former Congress presidents, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. They will be discussing about Telangana and who should be the next chief minister. There's a co-group meeting that is expected there. Mr. Revanth Reddy, as we've been saying, is the front runner. Even though there are other contenders, they will try to find a way forward and go ahead with the promises that have been made.
Right.
No date has been given for the swearing in, but definitely across the states, be it in Rajasthan, be it in Madhya Pradesh. We are definitely going to see younger faces being projected and a younger leadership to take on what is definitely cost the party extremely dearly ahead of the 2024 elections.
For the BJP, victories, in fact, come and they propel generational changes, at least for the Congress. Many would be hoping that losses will do the same and there will be generational change, not only in leadership, but the way the party wants to take on the BJP in the upcoming general election. Thank you, Sunil, for joining us with all those details. Like Sunil was speaking about Telangana, the only state, the silver lining for the Congress party in these 5-state elections. The party has been able to, in fact, uproot a regional satrap 10-year government of KCR. The BRS party was defeated. Now, sources are telling us that there is not going to be any hurried swearing in today. Plans for swearing in are being put on hold. No final decision has been taken on who is going to be the chief minister. Now, AICC observers are yet to arrive in Delhi, and then they will be meeting the party president Mallikarjun Kharge tomorrow. So the decision will be taken most likely by tomorrow as far as the chief minister is concerned. Now, sources also telling us that as of now, there is no consensus on who will be the chief minister as far as Telangana is concerned. Uma Sudhir, my colleague, joining us with more details on this. Uma, you know, many would say that the Congress, even in the states where they win, they get into this problem as far as who is going to be the leader. People were expecting Revant Reddy would be possibly the easiest choice. What's the hiccup?
Yes, indeed. This is one state where they seem to have managed the rebel problem, where they seem to have had the Congress leaders, all of different camps also coming together and working together and mounting a very strong campaign and managing to unseat someone who seemed like a very, very popular and tall and undisputed leader. Everything seemed set, even though, you know, they went in a hurry, I must say, to go and stake claim to form the government, saying that we are the majority party, even though they had still not elected their CLP leader. They decided that they must first go and inform the governor that they would be staking a claim to form the government and that the name would be informed as soon as they are able to elect the leader. Today, in fact, from our sources in the police and in Raj Bhavan, we understand that arrangements were being made for the swearing in of a chief minister and a deputy chief minister. All that they said in the morning was that a resolution is being passed to allow the leadership, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, to take the final call, that they are authorized, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, to take the final call, and that the opinion of all the leaders was being sought. So one of the top leaders who I have spoken to pointed out three things. One, that it's a kind of a lobbying that Mr. Revant Reddy and his camp seem to be doing, suggesting that he is indeed the front runner and he is very much the obvious choice for becoming chief minister, whereas he says there are other contenders as well in the race and they need to be considered as well. And each of the MLAs independently made their own pitch, expressed their opinion, what they think about the CLP leader. So I would reckon that whether it is one Komat Reddy, Venkat Reddy, who is a very senior leader of the party, 36 years in the party, he as well as Mr. Uttam Kumar Reddy, who has been always in the Congress, Air Force officer, someone who has won 7 times as MLA as well, has been an MP as well. So he too is taking his claim. Bhatti Vikramarka, who is a Dalit leader, has done in a sense campaigning outside of his constituency as well. He is also certainly being considered because he was someone who did a Padyatra as well. So all this while it was happening, Revant Reddy, for the campaign that he mounted, for the fact that he heli-hopped across the state and campaigned everywhere and showed that leadership taking on. So it was presumed that that would be the leadership, and we were told that the ceremony is also going to happen. But this top leader told me that a phone call was then made saying that this is still needs to be considered and all options need to be looked at carefully and every option need to be weighed carefully, and then only the ceremony, and that's why it's been stopped. And now the observers will go to Delhi, have that meeting, and then only. This could be a way for them to negotiate and get some juicy portfolios as well, more heavy portfolios than what it is. One option that was given to me was that there could be a chief minister and 3 deputy chief ministers. Back to you.
And hence, the Congress party in their very true fashion, and we saw this in Karnataka as well, Uma, when we were covering that election, that post the victory, this kind of squabble, this kind of in fact, the party, people jostling for the post started as soon as the victory was announced. Thank you, Uma, for joining us. Moving on to Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot, the man who was for the last 5 years the former PCC chief, and also the man who possibly thought that he could have been the chief minister for some time, at least in the last government, now being looked as the big change that the Congress party going back to a younger face. He has reacted for the first time after his party's loss in the state of Rajasthan. He said, sad that we have lost despite working hard. He also said we need to introspect and Lok Sabha polls are just round the corner. Sachin Pilot also said that we accept the people's mandate. Meanwhile, Mr. Pilot has said that he backs Mr. Gehlot for the top officials' all-out attack at the chief ministers. Pilot opens a fresh flashpoint. Is that what is going to happen as far as now the Congress party is concerned after this defeat? Let's listen into what Mr. Sachin Pilot said.
लोकसभा चुनाव बहुत दूर नहीं है, हम बैठकर चर्चा करेंगे कहाँ कमियां रह गई, क्योंकि पूरी ताकत से चुनाव लड़ा फिर भी कामयाब नहीं हो सके, इसका विश्लेषण करना पड़ेगा। और बहरहाल पब्लिक ने हमको जो मैंडेट दिया है वो विपक्ष में बैठने का दिया है। लोकसभा चुनाव बहुत जल्द आने वाले हैं, तो जो भी हम लोगों को डिस्कशन करना है पार्टी प्लेटफॉर्म पर करेंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना मानता हूँ कि हमें पूरी ताकत से पूरी हिम्मत से अच्छा चुनाव लड़ा फिर भी हम कामयाब नहीं हुए, इस बात का हमें खेद है। हम लोग एक मजबूत विपक्ष आज हैं और पूरी ताकत से जनता के बीच में रह के नई सरकार को काम करने के लिए मजबूर करेंगे।
Let me go across to my colleague Harsha Kumari Singh, who is joining us from Jaipur. Harsha, on one hand, the BJP is scratching their head over who is going to be the chief minister. The Congress, despite the defeat, at this moment, people, like I was talking to Sunil, people are looking at, is this defeat going to somehow propel the Congress for a generational change, a difference in the way they function so far?
Well, yes, you know, the Congress is going to clearly be introspecting. I met Amrita Dhawan also yesterday, just when she was leaving. They are the, observers for Rajasthan. So definitely there's going to be some introspection now. If you see, Lokesh Sharma has created a lot of political rumbles here. He was the OSD to the Chief Minister, and he has actually said that the Chief Minister did not listen to the feedback from the ground. Sachin Pilot also has, in fact, is treading very carefully this time. He said that he's going to bring up whatever he wants within the party forum. But if you read, Sachin has also said that, he wants to, especially to look at what Lokesh Sharma has pointed out. So I think somewhere that internal tug of war that actually perhaps cost the Congress in Rajasthan, because, if they had built up on the welfare schemes with some kind of a different campaign pitch, I think that's what the people within the Congress are also saying, it could have helped them. Now the Congress MLAs will meet tomorrow. Who will be leader of opposition or what will be decided is very, very important, because remember, that will give us indications as to what is the way ahead for the Congress. What will be Gehlot's future? What will be Sachin Pilot's future? Little early, I think, to speculate on that. Both leaders want to stay and work in Rajasthan. So that's definitely the subtext of this conversation. But what Sachin Pilot has said, he's being very guarded this time.
Right.
But he's clearly indicated that introspection needs to be done. And also the fact that re-entrenchment didn't happen. They didn't change the MLAs. Very few MLAs were changed. So somewhere that also worked against the Congress party.
Harsha, is it safe to say at this moment that this is possibly the lowest that Mr. Gehlot is facing as far as political career is concerned? I mean, knives are out for him. His closest people are talking against him. He's not in the very good terms as far as the central leadership is concerned. What is the future for Mr. Gehlot? What is it looking like at this moment?
Well, yes, he'll have to do some deft maneuvering, definitely, to, like you said, the fact that a year back when they asked him to be party president, and there was that rebellion which was held, and in fact, Lokesh Sharma, who was his OSD, Mr. Ashok Gehlot's OSD, has said this was all, it was all sort of manufactured. That's what he said. And that's something that Sachin has also kind of somewhere endorsed, because remember, last year also he said that, why is this not being treated as a rebellion? So the fact that he didn't fall in with the party line, decided to chart a course of his own, this is all going to definitely come up for discussion. And in this election, he was the face all the way. It was his social welfare schemes. It was his face that you saw out of all those posters in Rajasthan. So clearly, somewhere or the other, the responsibility also rests on his shoulders, is what people within the party are saying. Though, of course, they will also bring out the fact that, how the MLAs performed, what was their campaign like. they will also bring out bits about Sachin Pilot. Did he campaign enough? For example, they were not seen together. So clearly, I think it's going to be quite a sharp discussion when it happens.
When it happens, and hardly any time left now because ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. But as they say in politics, I mean, victory would have propelled Mr. Gehlot's fortunes, and a defeat for an election in which he was seen as the one leading it is also now going to plummet his political currency. Thank you so much, Harsha, for joining us with all those details. With that, we are slipping into a very short break. News and updates on the other side as well. Stay tuned.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 Kadam, 10 Kadam.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
Give us a sort of profile without disclosing too much of it. But you know, the kind of startups that excite you today. Because Zomato, Policy Bazaar, Naukri, great innings. But I'm wondering, today, what kind of companies, what are the elements of these companies?
So I tell you, we don't do it top down. We don't say, hey, this is a good sector, let's go for it. If we'd done that in 2010, we would never have invested in Zomato because there was no restaurant listing sector. We would not have done Policy Bazaar in 2008 because there was no insurance comparison sector. We look at companies that are creating new categories, entrepreneurs, breaking new ground. And therefore, we do it bottom up. We meet 1,000 startups a quarter, or at least look at 1,000 startups a quarter, meet maybe about 500, and we invest in 3 or 4 a quarter.
Okay.
Okay. And we start with first principles, bottom up. Is there some evidence of natural traction? Is there some indication that the value proposition is so good that the customer will really want this? Are customers using it? Are they happy? Are they coming back again and again? Is the company getting some sales? Right? Are customers paying real money for this? And is that real money higher than the cost? So that's the first thing. Then we look at the quality of the team and the founders. Right? And then maybe 100 other things. But these two are absolutely important. Very important also is there some IP that is being created or potentially can be created?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That matters. Because IP is what I think gives superior margins, builds a moat, and provides longevity to a business. Right? So at Naukri, we have built pretty serious IP. A lot of it is not known in the public, is not talked about, but all our resume database is the largest in the country. The kind of algorithms we use to search our resume database are fairly unique to us. Right? In the company, we've got a
Some breaking news coming in at this moment. In fact, earlier it was reported that the Chennai airport, because of the heavy rainfall, will be shut till 11 p.m. this evening. Now, the latest coming in that the airport will remain shut till 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, the Meenambakkam airport in Chennai is going to remain shut till 9 a.m. tomorrow. This is the impact of the Mizoram cyclone, the pre-cyclone, in fact, rainfall, heavy rainfall at this moment, in fact, in Chennai and places in Andhra Pradesh as well. Pratibha Raman, my colleague, joining us with more details on this. Pratibha, now this is going to, in fact, create a lot of problems as far as the commuters are concerned, but very important safety measure being taken at this moment.
That's right. In fact, the cyclone has indeed created havoc across Chennai and parts of Tamil Nadu, and expected to make a landfall anytime between midnight and early morning in Andhra Pradesh here. In fact, to give you a sense of, how many lives have been stranded, it's not just people in Tamil Nadu. Several of the reporters who were here in Telangana trying to cover the election, who wanted to head back to Tamil Nadu, have all been stranded here. So that's the kind of complaint. So it's not just normal humans who have been affected, but several others from different parts of the city as well as the state who have been heading to Chennai and planning this have all been stranded at different airports all over the country, especially because of the airport being shut down in Chennai. In fact, one of the key airports in India that we must say, especially connecting a lot of flights from the north towards the southern part of India. But this is definitely a safety measure that has been taken. Like you pointed out, the airport has been extremely flooded with heavy rains as well as water flowing from different streams and rivers right across Chennai. A lot of lives that have been rescued, the police personnel as well as the NDRF teams who have been working tirelessly there. In fact, to give you a picture of the cyclone here in Andhra Pradesh as well, a lot of precautionary measures that have been taken into a lot of safety measures that have been put in place by the district collectors as well as the police personnel, trying to institute a lot of these rehabilitation centers, at least around 49 rehabilitation centers that have been put up right across the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh to ensure that all of them who are in the low-lying areas would be shifted to these rehabilitation centers. Food as well as medical health camps, all of them have been put in place to try and see that no lives would be affected.
All right, this is an important update coming in at this moment. The Chennai airport is going to be shut till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Pratibha, also just if you could encapsulate for our viewers, what's the situation at this moment in southern India, specifically in the Tamil Nadu and coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh?
Right since late last night, people have been working tirelessly to rescue a lot of people, especially in Andhra Pradesh. Now that the cyclone is moving towards this, expecting to make a landfall here, heavy rains that have been lashing through different parts of the state in Andhra Pradesh, especially in districts like Tirupati as well as Krishna districts. All of these are across the coast. And that is exactly the areas where it is definitely going to affect a lot of lives there, and precautionary measures being put up there, especially in places like Krishna as well as Nellore and Tirupati are around 8 districts that fall in that region. All of them have been issued alerts. All of them have been asked to stay indoors. And people in the low-lying areas have been shifted to the rehabilitation centers already, with a lot of these medical health facilities as well as food and relief measures that have been provided, all of them put in place right away to ensure that everybody stays safe at this point in time. So these are the kind of measures that have been put up. All of them are waiting to see that everybody stays indoors. So this is also an alert that has been issued to everybody right across Andhra Pradesh as well as in Tamil Nadu. A lot of them who were stranded, especially in areas in the middle of the city of Chennai, especially areas like T Nagar as well as Adyar, also the outskirts, the greater Chennai that we talk about like Tambaram, all of them have been severely affected with flooding.
Severely affected, the flooding there. In fact, many people in Chennai being reminded of the floods that took place in 2015. Despite many measures being taken, in fact, there were some visuals where you could see cars, in fact, floating because of heavy rainfall. Now, Pratibha, this is the pre-cyclone landfall showers, which are torrential rains, which are taking place at this moment. When is the landfall expected? And after that, because during the landfall, it will be very high winds and rainfall, it will take some hours before the government machinery could come in some sort of action.
That's right. The latest that the information that we picked up from the collector's office here in Krishna district as well as the neighboring districts is that the landfall is expected to be around 12 midnight to around early morning. That would be between 4ish or 5ish in the morning. And it's only after that we expect relief measures to relief teams as well as rescue teams to go into those areas to see if anybody is really stranded or affected in those areas. So until then, it is putting everybody on the edge of their seats here in Andhra Pradesh. And right now, in fact, I am around 200 kilometers away from the district where it is expected to make landfall. And already we see torrential rains here in the district, especially in the Krishna district and in and around there. And this is expected to continue at least for the next 3-4 days, especially in the areas near where the landfall is expected to approach. And those kind of districts will expect around heavy to very heavy rainfall for the next 2 days is what the collector's office, as well as the information that we are picking up from the weather department here. And the adjoining areas, that is in the periphery of these districts, will have light to moderate light rains. This is what we're given to understand. So at least till December 8th, the situation is definitely going to be pretty grim in these districts.
Okay, so in fact, Pratibha, giving us that update. She's on her way to the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh where the landfall is expected. Meanwhile, in Chennai, in fact, these visuals are coming in from the capital city of Tamil Nadu, where earlier today at about 4:30 p.m., the Chennai police department had informed that at least in 25 places there have been incidents of a tree, in fact, being a tree falling in because of the heavy rainfall, and that has inconvenienced a lot of movement of traffic in many places. People are being taken out and to safety, in fact, in Chennai as well. Let me also at this moment just play out a report which was sent earlier by my colleague Sam Daniel. Meanwhile, Pratibha, thank you for joining us and stay safe. We'll keep coming back to you for more details.
We come to you from the Oliver Road at Mylapore in Chennai. Well, I am in knee-deep waters. That's the situation in many roads across Chennai. And in terms of damages, hundreds of cars actually are in waters, and that's a major damage. There's no electricity since morning across Chennai. Train services, the airport has been shut. Many trains have been cancelled or partially cancelled or diverted. The Met Office says this could continue well till late this evening, although they had earlier said the intensity of the rain could be less by 3 o'clock. Now there is no sign of any such respite till the cyclone crosses Tamil Nadu coast. Authorities say this will continue. And some pockets of Chennai like Perangudi received up to 29 centimeters of rain. That's the kind of quantum of rain we are talking about. And although Chennai has a new set of expanded stormwater drains, it couldn't just handle the quantum of rains. Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin.
All right, with that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
This show isn't just about news from the southern states. It's one that looks at the rest of India and the world from a diverse South India point of view, because NDTV has always taken the southern view seriously.
The Southern View with Veera Raghav, only on NDTV 24/7.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
What is it about the governance lapses that we've seen in recent times that have been allowed to escalate in the Indian startup universe? And we're not getting into specifics here, but you have boards and you have hefty investors, and you think there's a lot of wisdom sitting around the table, and yet these things happen. Why?
I think very simply, when investors go in, they diligence the company, they diligence the founder, and they conclude that the founder is honest and trustworthy. right? And that is the case in 95% of the situations. Most Indian founders are trustworthy and honest, right? But there are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5% who perhaps are not that clean, right? And those are the cases that have got highlighted actually. And now having said that, I think a lot will depend on what actions investors take after they discover this. And you certainly can't let things be. That's not a good idea in my view.
Is there a middle sort of category of governance lapses, which is, you know, chasing growth at the cost of strong processes? I mean, I'm trying to understand if there's a redeeming type of mistake or governance path.
So you can make mistakes of business judgment, right? Those are honest mistakes. But stuff where you have been taking money out of the company,
Really trying to go across to our colleague Sam Daniel, who is in Chennai. Remember, there hasn't been any electricity. In fact, in most parts of the city, it's quite difficult at this moment. Sam is joining us at this moment, and I want to go across to him to get a sense of what's happening in the city of Chennai as we speak. Sam, airport will be shut from 11 p.m. Tonight. Now it has been extended to 9 a.m. tomorrow. I can see where you are standing. The wind is picking up. There's still rainfall. What's the situation at this moment?
Well, as we speak, it continues to rain on and off. Many pockets of Chennai are in knee-deep waters, particularly low-lying areas. Many homes, water has entered many homes. It's kind of a nightmare for them. In terms of the hardship, there is no electricity right from morning till now. It's very unlikely it will resume tonight. We may have to wait till morning for the rains to stop. Local trains, local buses, now the airport, all have been shut down. Many trains from the Chennai Central Station and the Egmore Station have been cancelled or diverted. And the Met says the rains may subside later tonight after the cyclone moves away from Tamil Nadu and head towards Andhra Pradesh for its landing tomorrow. And as we speak now, around 4,500 relief centers across Tamil Nadu have been kept ready. We are still waiting for the number of people who have been evacuated. The last figure from the government said around 700 have been moved to cyclone relief centers. And the Tamil Nadu government has declared a public holiday for the second day tomorrow as well. All schools, colleges, government offices except emergency services would be shut. They've also appealed to the private companies to let people work from home. The reason for this flooding, if I can call it that way, is that Chennai has received up to 29 centimeter rain till the data available this afternoon over a period of 24 hours. And the existing and the newly built stormwater drains are just not cannot just handle this kind of water, unprecedented rainfall. And that's why authorities say once the rain stops, then at least most parts of Chennai will be able to get back to normalcy as waters will automatically drain. They also say because of the heavy inflow in two of the rivers in Chennai, the water is not getting into the sea as fast as it would normally do. So once this rain stops, they say it will get faster. And then of course the challenge is to pump waters out of many low-lying pockets where they say they have deployed more than 500 giant pumps to do the work. But tonight it will be a dark night without electricity. For many, food will be a challenge. For many, reaching back home would be a challenge. Many are walking in knee-deep waters. But the government is advising people to stay indoors, to step out only when if it's absolutely required,
Sam,
and to abide with instructions government gives then and there.
This brings back the memories of 2015 Chennai floods. I mean, at that time it seemed that everything, the entire infrastructure had collapsed in the city. Is the government, better prepared this time? Are we seeing the machinery proactive, at least with the way they are dealing with the situation as of now?
The government is certainly proactive. In fact, they had put in several measures, but this kind of this quantum of rainfall they never expected, because the Met had said the neighbouring Thiruvallur district will get extremely heavy rainfall. But the government, in terms of preparedness, besides keeping in relief centres, putting in infrastructure like pumps and things ready, they also had declared holiday, and that really saved a lot of trouble for a bulk of the population in Chennai and many other districts. But this kind of challenge will take time to restore electricity, to pump out waters. The only hope is that the sooner the water recedes, the sooner the rain stops, then they'll be able to swing into action and bring normalcy back faster. But till then, people will have to go through this without electricity, with being confined to their homes and many other challenges. Ankit.
Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us with all those details. Stay safe. It's a difficult night for the city. Sam Daniel reporting there from Chennai. All right, with that, let's move on. In fact, after these dramatic visuals from Chennai, let me take you back to politics, and this time to the state after the 4 state elections, the one which people were waiting for in the northeast. Mizoram, in fact, the counting there took place today. The chief minister of the state, Zoram Tanga, who lost his own seat, has resigned following his party's poor show. He submitted his resignation to Governor D. Haribabu at the Raj Bhavan today. The Zoram People's Movement, an alliance of 6 parties, has crossed the halfway mark, where the assembly polls were held on November 7th. The party has won 21 seats in the 40-member assembly and is leading on 26. So 27 is the figure where they are expected to land. Now, Lalduhsoma, an IPS officer, I beg your pardon, who served as the in charge of the security for former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, is the chief ministerial face for ZPM, where another incumbent government in Mizoram has been thrown out of power.
As the Zoram People's Movement has swept the Mizoram elections, we are at the residence of Lalduhsoma, the chief ministerial face of Zoram People's Movement, and you can see his supporters here celebrating. They're very happy. This has been a big victory for Zoram's People Movement, a party which is only 6 years old. In fact, we have a lot of young people here. We have his family members as well. Can I get your name?
Zodini.
Your Lalduhsoma's granddaughter.
Yes, yes.
So this is going to be a big celebration for you all.
Yes, yes. We're very happy and we're celebrating.
So, you know, in the run-up to the elections, he must have been very busy. How did the family support him?
We tried to, we let him have ample of rest, and we make sure that he has a proper diet and took care of his health and all. And whenever he's home, we try to talk to him, and we don't talk about politics with him that much, so that he can have.
So what all you talk to him? You don't talk politics. What is his interest otherwise?
We like to talk about the garden and the fruits and other flowers and all. And he likes to take care of this garden, so we usually talk about that. And it's just normal family talk. We like to joke around with each other, and that's...
He's like a friend to you?
Yes, he's a very good friend to us.
and what makes him upset?
I think when we don't really do what our tasks, like house chores and all, you know.
So, everybody must be very happy at home. It has been a huge victory, a long political journey for him.
Yes, it has been, and we're really proud of him today.
So there, Zoram Lalduhsoma's granddaughter is really proud. The man of the moment, Lalduhsoma. Mr. Lalduhsoma, your first reaction after this victory has been a massive victory.
Yeah.
Your first reaction, your reaction after this massive victory.
Yeah, we are very happy and enthusiastic, and I thank God and the people of Mizoram for returning to us.
Did you expect this kind of a landslide victory?
This is what we expect.
And you know, what were the reasons do you think that the people have voted for you?
There are many reasons of disappointment on the part of the people against the government. That is the main reason, and they have a high expectation of having a better government, more efficient government, and a corruption-free government. And the farmers, they are expecting us to buy their produces, which we committed to themselves, and we are going to do this.
What would be your priorities when you...
Our main primary priority will be buying of identified 4 crops from the farmers, which we have committed, and we are going to honor our commitments.
All right. In fact, that was he's going to be the Chief Minister of Mizoram now. And now let's move on. In fact, day 1 of the winter session of the Parliament, the BJP already in celebratory mode after the massive victory that the party, in fact, was able to get in the 3 states yesterday. Now, Prime Minister Modi arrived in the Parliament today, BJP ahead of the session amidst the cheer of the BJP MPs. Prime Minister Modi also spoke to the opposition in his address, and he said that don't vent your frustrations in the Parliament. Opposition is likely to take up the issues of the former Indian Navy officers in Qatar and the Manipur insurgency and unrest as well. 15 sittings are expected in this winter session.
Sloganeering by BJP MPs in the Lok Sabha as Prime Minister Modi entered the House a day after the emphatic BJP victory in 3 states in the Hindi heartland. Outside the House, while giving his customary speech before the session began, the Prime Minister said he hoped for constructive debate.
हताशा निराशा होगी, आपके साथियों को आपका दम दिखाने के लिए कुछ न कुछ करना भी पड़ेगा, लेकिन कम से कम लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर को वो मंच मत बनाइए। आज मैं राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से भी कहना चाहता हूं कि आपका भी भला इसमें है कि आप देश को सकारात्मकता का संदेश दें।
The last full session of the 17th Lok Sabha is a brief one, ending on 22nd December. On the government's agenda, 19 legislative business and 2 financial business bills. Contentious bills to replace the IPC, the Indian Evidence Act and the CRPC are on the agenda. And the bill to reserve 33% seats for women in J&K and Puducherry assemblies. Though the winter session began on a note of great buoyancy for the Treasury benches and further demoralization of the INDIA bloc, the opposition is looking at taking up issues of Indians on death row in Qatar, alleged misuse of central agencies like the CBI and ED, and rising inflation. Also, the opposition is demanding a discussion on the Manipur situation.
Big brother syndrome.
The 15 sittings of the winter session are likely to be stormy, and the Lok Sabha also taking up the Ethics Committee report on Trinamool MP Mahua Moitra. On November 9th, the committee had adopted its report recommending Moitra's expulsion from the Lok Sabha over the allegations of cash for query.
Interesting that the item of filing the Ethics Committee report was skipped when they laid papers on the table. I hope that is a good sign that the government is rethinking this rather extreme step. But having said that, we have a number of very fundamental questions in our mind about.
Though the INDIA bloc parties met today to chalk out a floor strategy, the Congress's poor show in the assembly polls have given a body blow to its hope of becoming the fulcrum of opposition unity in the INDIA bloc.
देखिए, ये जो 3 राज्यों में जो हुआ, एक वो भाजपा का कोई सक्सेस नहीं है, वो कांग्रेस का फेलियर है। इसके ऊपर लोकसभा इलेक्शन का कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा, क्योंकि ये स्टेट्स में जो हुआ वो कांग्रेस का fault hai.
We see a stormy session ahead, and it's very clear because some of the bills that have been listed which includes the one to make amendments in the way CECs are appointed in India, and also another one to replace the IPC, CRPC and Indian Evidence Act have already been flagged by opposition, and that I think is going to be a major flashpoint between the opposition and the government in the coming days. Remember that the session has 15 sittings and will last till December 22nd.
Now, after this, the only time the Parliament will meet before the general elections would be the budget session. So it is going to be an important platform for the opposition to at least try and drive home their point as well. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates on the other side as well. Stay tuned.
And there's too much talking but very little being said, too many voices but hardly any being heard. You turn to a show that puts you front and center, a show that headlines the stories of the people, by the people, for the people.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
Welcome to Serious Business on NDTV.
$1 has only secured 0.6 cents of private capital. That needs to fundamentally change.
By mid-century, India's economy will grow eightfold.
One topic.
When a family comes out of the poverty line, what would be the first asset class they would buy? It's gold.
One speaker.
It's the biggest attack on Jews since the Holocaust.
If you want to control inflation, you need to play the trade policy.
UPI, Aadhaar, all of that, where India is well ahead of the West.
5 trillion is a short-term goal. I would like to see India becoming a $30 trillion economy.
A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center. Conversations that get to the core of the debate.
I think the first thing is one very important question. But I asked Deepinder Goyal first time I met him. So the thing, Zomato was then called Food eBay, right? And I used to visit the site regularly because it was the only restaurant listing site with all the menu cards, right? And I found that very useful. Hitesh Oberoi, our CEO, also found it useful. And we discussed one day, and he said, why don't you look at it for investment? And I said, yeah, why not? And I reached out to Deepinder. I didn't know him. I did in Google search to find him, and I sent him an email. And he came and met me, and the first question I asked him, yaar, Deepinder, the idea kahan se aaya? Where did you get this idea from? And he said, look, I was working in Bain Consulting.
Transition as they become adults is now being seen as an important step.
मैं पहले ही नशा करता था, ये इंजेक्शन लेता था, ऐसे ही शेयर कर लेते थे हम एक दूसरे से। उसके चक्कर में मेरा HIV हो गई, मुझे जब भी पता नहीं चला। मैं फिर घर पे रहता रहा, नशे करता रहा, तो मेरा क्या हुआ, मैं कमज़ोर हो गया बहुत, ख़त्म से होने वाली हालत हो गई। मेरी मम्मी ने आखिरी देख के नशा मुक्ति में भेज दिया मुझे। नशा मुक्ति में जाते ही वो कराता है, वो ब्लड टेस्ट कराते हैं। ब्लड टेस्ट में मुझे पता चला मेरा HIV है। उसके बाद मैं रोया। पहले नहीं पता था इससे क्या होता है, क्या बीमारी, क्या नहीं है, पहले नहीं पता था, इसलिए थोड़ा रोना आता था। अब पता चल गया तो जीने की उम्मीद है।
This World AIDS Day has a lot of significance to me. And we know that India has been doing very well. If you compare from 2010 to 9, there has been a 37% reduction. It's a very effective reduction. But a lot needs to be done. And especially programs like this. I feel very happy and honored to be invited for this.
For children living with HIV and the challenges they face. This year, World AIDS Day was the day they got to enjoy. It was planned and celebrated in a unique way to create joy, entertainment and support for these resilient young individuals.
आज का दिन मेरे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा था, वैसे जो मैंने और
इस बार इस टॉपिक के बारे में भी जाने, HIV के बारे में, और जो मूवी वगैरह थी, इतने सारे शो हुए, उससे भी मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आगे भी ऐसे होते रहे.
To build a more inclusive, protected and aware society, Asacham Foundation with their CSR partner Reckitt, in collaboration with PBR Nest, organized a special program to commemorate World AIDS Day.
In our whole program today, the day started with showcasing the movie which has been chosen by the kids themselves. It's called Avatar. Followed by that, we actually, we arranged 3 other programs for them. The first program is with Rais Khan, who has performed on the folk songs and giving the messages on hygiene. The second program which we did was on empathy, on equity and equality. This program we have done with the characters of the Sesame Street by the Muppets. And the third one what we have done with the Moko Koza, who has flown specially from the Nagaland to Delhi today to perform in between the kids. There's a health kit which has been given to these kids. The kit has various things like it has Dettol soap, it has sanitizer, it has a clean towel, it has a nail cutter, it has a self-care directions for the kids so that they have a healthy and hygienic life.
Public-private partnership has been the epitome, in fact the central component of the way we look at our programs. First of all, they become more warmer, more meaningful and more and touching more lives because you have this large network which you are able to access while you partner. So this is a very, very critical way to look into any program development if it is for this large Indian community we are looking at, especially the children. And these partnerships land up creating huge impacts, huge objectives which are required for the development of these programs.
Everyone has a role and responsibility to ensure that children's rights are protected in communities affected by HIV and AIDS. Only when all stakeholders work together can we ensure no one is left behind.
This World AIDS Day, join the fight against HIV. I'm Ayushman Khurrana. This World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, come be a part of the Banega Swasth India campaign and be the change with me. One World Hygiene, 10 kadam, 10 kadam.
I want to talk a little bit about higher education in India because Ashoka University, certainly, most or all will agree that it's been a success. So if you look at the ingredients of that success, what worked? It was a new bet in a sense.
So I think we started with a few sort of guiding principles, the group of us who came together. And we said first thing is we will do liberal arts and sciences.
Hello and welcome to this special focus this evening. We'll focus on the result in Mizoram, where the old guards of the Mizo National Front and Chief Minister Zoramthanga has been decimated by the Zoram People's Front, or ZPM, of Lalduhsoma, the 74-year-old IPS officer who's set to become Chief Minister. Who will be Chief Minister, though, of Telangana? That's the other focus that we have this evening. We have exclusive details lined up ahead, including a deep dive data analysis of the results in Telangana. Inundation in Chennai as Cyclone Michaung brings its fury. The Chennai airport is shut till tomorrow morning 9 a.m. Several parts of the city inundated completely. Cars being washed away in the floods, as well as in Andhra Pradesh. We'll have special ground reports coming up here at 7 o'clock this evening. But first, in the midst of all the politics in the Hindi heartland and Telangana, it's the verdict in the northeastern state of Mizoram. That's our top focus this evening. The Zoram People's Movement, or the ZPM, which contested its first elections in 2018, as you see on your screens, unseated Chief Minister Zoramthanga's Mizo National Front, the original party of Mizo Pride. There you have it on your screens, the numbers that are coming up. It's an election fought in the shadow of the situation in Manipur. 27 to the ZPM, 1 to the Congress, and of course 10 to the Mizo National Front. The numbers are small, but the perception is of consequence to the national politics. Joining me now is Aditi Phadnis, senior journalist who follows the Northeast very closely, including Mizoram, as well as Ninglung Hangal, senior journalist as well, joining us from New Delhi, as well as Hoinhu Hausel, senior journalist from Manipur. Thank you three for joining us. First to you, Hoinhu. We will be getting across to Lalduhsoma as well in a bit. We have an interview to play out, but what is the real import of this verdict in Mizoram, both from the national point of view as well in terms of the local politics there?
Hi, good evening, and thank you for having me. If you look at Mizoram, it's a very interesting state and it has its own character and it refuses, and the interesting thing is it refuses to compromise in order to keep alive the Mizo-ness of the society. So for Mizo, whether it is the present, the outgoing chief minister or the past, they've always kept the society and the people before anything else. And the strength of the character in all the rulers, it is very remarkable. If we look at Mr. Zoramthanga, it must be given to him that he brought the state from what it was to be a state, to be a full-fledged state, and also brought it through very difficult times. And he was the only chief minister, despite his alliance with the other, he stood his ground and he put humanity before anything else. So I think there's a lot of, the character, the uniqueness and the nuances of Mizoram politics is very, very different from many other states. And the coming of ZPM itself is also defining a new definition. It is formed with a lot of aspirations to redefine. I've been speaking to a lot of my Mizo friends, journalist friends, and people there. And what they tell me is that this party is looked upon as a new definition to bring about change. For instance, if we look at Mizoram, it does not have any notable industry. Everything else, the industries revolves around cottage industries, despite its potential. So the youth are also aspiring for change. And so I think this is really a time for them to look upon the new, to bring about a change, to address the aspirations. A lot have also happened, and the evolution, the aspirations of the Mizo people, the youth, needs to be also taken into factor. So which is why they look at this. And this is a fairly young party, and it is also the combination.
So it's an aspirational verdict is what you're saying. It's an aspirational verdict of the young trying to move forward from the old guard of the Mizo National Front and Zoramthanga. Ninglung, how do you see this, given that this election was fought in the backdrop of what happened in terms of Manipur? In terms of the larger national perception, before I go to Aditi, what's the sense that you pick up? What's really the message that's coming across?
The direct message would be that the Mizoram doesn't go for national party, either the Congress or the BJP. The thing is, of course, the Manipur background is there, but that doesn't have any link with the election, because for the people, for the Zhou people in Manipur, it is always the Zhou connection, the Zhou Natlak, that is more important than elections. So doesn't have really much of Manipur impact, because for the Mizoram, for the Mizo and the Zhou people in Mizoram and the Zhou people in Manipur, there is always that kinship and the brotherhood is always there. And it is a regional party that is winning, and that is very significant. And this election is really an interesting one, because it was a fight between the two regional party. And Zoramthanga, Zoramthanga, as we know, he is one of the very popular chief minister. And it is also has a lot to do about the voters, the young people, for example, the new elected MLAs. We also see 3 women coming to being elected. So it is very historic this time. And it is also about a change that the youth wanted to see. It is not about any other Manipur background or something, but it is more about the youths looking for a change, and they wanted to give a new party a new chance. That is what I see.
New party, a new chance. You also emphasize about the aspirational aspect of this election. I believe we can go across to my colleague Ratnadeep as well. But before that, Aditi Phadnis, I believe we can go across to Ratnadeep right now. Ratnadeep, Just give us quickly a sense of the celebrations and things that you're seeing around the ZPM. I believe you're outside Lalduhsoma's home, and must be celebratory images there.
Well, celebrations did take place at the residence of Lalduhsoma. At this moment, the people, his supporters, have all met him and gone back home, because in Mizoram, people usually have their dinner early. So this is their actually the dinner time, and therefore they have gone back to their home. And therefore, but there was a huge celebration, a grand reception for him when he came back home in Aizawl from his constituency, Sarchi, where he won his own seat, and his party won 26 other seats. To script this historic victory, and this victory has a lot of significance, given the fact that Congress, which was once a very strong political force in the Mizoram, is now relegated to the 4th position. It has just only 1 seat to its name. The BJP, for the BJP, Mizoram has been one territory in the northeast which it could not electorally conquer, and even this time, after contesting in 23 seats, Mizoram BJP has been able to increase its tally by 1 seat. So Mizoram still remains a territory where BJP will have to work more, and particularly for ZPM, the kind of politics that they have spoken about in the run-up to the election, the alternative politics, the kind of attack that it has done on the MNF on allegations of corruption. Now, the ZPM's top leader, Lalduhsoma, when we spoke to him, he clearly said that his priorities are, number 1, that he wants to have an MSP for the farmers, and then he would give a go ahead to CBI for investigation into a lot of corruption allegations which are there. So these are the key issues, and yes, the aspirational part of the voters had played a very important role in this election, because if you see in Mizoram this time, there were 62% voters who fall in the age group of 18 to 40, right. And this voters, these young voters have been the key. And if you look at the way the ZPM has swept the election, it seems that these young voters have voted for ZPM, voted for a change, voted for a new party.
Yeah, you've got footballers to musicians. I wonder what's there for the Mizo dinner tonight for you, Ratnadeep. But we'll keep guessing on that a little bit. I think we can go across to, I think it's time for you, Ratnadeep, as well to go back. But Aditi Fadnes, very quickly to you, in terms of most people, the champions of Mizo are out for dinner at the moment. But what's the sense you pick up? What would be the big takeaway from the verdict, apart from the fact that there is aspirational verdict in terms of national parties, both getting relegated? The ZPM perhaps taking the space that the Congress had traditionally held in that area. So Mizoram turning into a ZPM versus MNF state dominated by 2 regional parties.
I say this with some sense of longing, what I wouldn't give to be in Aizawl at this point. It is really uplifting to see the people's response to MNF, which, as you know, was, for the last election on the candidates were independents because they could not get recognition from the Election Commission in time. But now the time has come when they have to deliver on all the things that they promised. While there is no doubt that there is an aspirational character to the ZPM's victory, we must not forget that the MNF has also done pretty well in terms of vote share. I think the divide, we need to get more granular data on this, but the divide is between young people and old people. Old people, meaning those above, say, about 40, who still believe that Zoram Thanga was the father of, a certain period of Mizoram's history, and was the direct descendant of the UG movement started by Laldenga and others. Okay. So I think, I hope that the two can work together